Good afternoon and welcome, everybody. This would be the Jeff Cameron Show right here on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Hello, hope you're well. Thanks for tuning to it. I'm Jeff, that's Tom. We're online, ESPNTallahassee.com. That's where you go to listen live via the streaming free always. Don't miss anything, but if you do miss something, get back to us because we got you covered all 3 hours. Posted every day upon the conclusion of the show, both to iTunes and in our own audio vault. It's also thrown up there on the WTSM app. So lots of ways to get caught up. You can email us if you like, jcs at 979espnradio.com. On Twitter, it's at JCameron Show. It's also at 979 ESPN Radio if you want to Periscope. And lastly, hello, YouTubers. Hope this finds you doing well. There you heard the Sports Center with Jalen Hurts transferring to Oklahoma. No real surprise there. Lincoln Riley gets a guy that I would imagine will be able to run this offense, and he's eligible immediately as a grad transfer. And man, it's not like Oklahoma's been struggling to find quarterbacks. Mayfield and Murray back-to-back Heisman winners. But now you get the kind of experience, and obviously fans will be excited about what Jalen Hurts brings to the table. Won't be as good a passer, has it in him from time to time. Certainly an unbelievable athlete, can really run around as a back almost, but can make throws in Riley's offense because he schemes wide open guys. And Big 12 doesn't guard anybody, so I would imagine he'll have a lot of success at OU. Now, let's bring it back home because you care less about that and more about this. Why didn't we get him, right? Well, if you think about it, it doesn't make a lot of sense for him to come here. You've got 1 year to play. You're going to come here, you're going to play football for one season. If you say, I have the choice to go to Oklahoma, start there. Really, you start there and you end there. I can go to Oklahoma and run Riley's offense, where they've had back-to-back Heisman Trophy winners and are in the college football playoff, or I could go, name your other teams. Maryland, where his OC went from Alabama to Maryland now as the head coach in Loxley. Down to Miami, where another assistant is, and he's had experience with, so he could do that. He'd be familiar with whatever they're going to do down there at Miami. Florida State, coming off a 5-7 season where they couldn't block anybody. I mean, it's hard to make an argument for us. And I know we made the pitch. I know we did all that we could. I know we tried to sell him. I know certainly you could say, hey, we're bringing in Kendall Briles. All that's true, but he's not familiar with that system. That's not what they run. So if you could go to Oklahoma in that system, and obviously you put up unbelievable numbers as a quarterback in the Big 12, and you probably got a real good chance of getting back to the college football playoff. Your dad is in Texas. He's wanted you to go to Oklahoma. It's kind of a no-brainer. So it's not a surprise today that we hear that he goes there. How does that affect Florida State? Well, as we continue to look at our quarterback situation, the word is that James Blackman has put his name into the portal, Tom. The beloved portal is now a topic of conversation on the regular. In the past, we would talk about teleportation portals and things like that. But, now this sounds like it's going to be, every now and then there are markers on the timeline, on the schedule, where over the years, I look back and I go, I remember when that became a thing, when all of a sudden this was going to be a new reality for us. The portal's a new reality, man. And I don't know that everybody's going to deal with it real well. I don't know that it suits us as fans, let's say, all that well, because everybody wants to believe that their place is the place to be. Why would you look elsewhere? Why are you looking at somebody else? We're keeping ourselves in shape. We're working out every day. We're eating right. We're doing everything possible. Why are you out there wandering eyes? What's going on with you? But, man, people are curious.
They've got hungry eyes.
Actually, it empowers the student-athlete in a way that they've not been empowered in the past. And you know what? It's non-binding. You can do with this and not really have any consequences. That is to say, your dalliance doesn't come with repercussions necessarily. The way it's set up now, we all hear about it. We all know about it instantly because whomever it is that is inquiring about the services of so-and-so, it gets out there, and then everybody's abuzz and talking about it. But it could very well be that a person is doing it for a number of reasons. I mean, in the case of James Blackman, you could do it to send a message to your own coaching staff. Hey, man, I'm not getting jerked around. I see this putz DeAndre Francois is still on campus. What are you saying to me here? I got any guarantees? What's going on in the spring? Am I getting number one reps? Am I the guy? Am I getting my fair shake in Kendall Briles' system? Am I going to at least be on equal footing? Or do you plan to move forward with this guy? Because if that's the case, I may not need to be here. And that's the message you're sending. Not saying that's the message he's sending. I don't know why. Could be any number of reasons. But you can do that. And you can put your name in there. And it doesn't mean necessarily, you're just gauging options. It doesn't mean that you have to go anywhere. Doesn't even mean, and I didn't know this, but you can click yes or you can click no regarding contact in the transfer portal. So you can put your name in there and you can determine how much you're contacted and by whom. And the methodology. They're sending you an email. They're calling the athletic department and talking to people for you. Or you can give them as much unfettered access as you want, and they could be blowing up your phone night and day. But you decide that. So a lot of levels to this thing. And I think the concern that we would initially have is obviously the quarterback depth chart's not great already. You don't know the situation with Jordan Travis, whether or not he's going to get a waiver approved or not. So we look at this. Most of the fans don't want DeAndre Francois back. They're pissed that he's already announced that he's coming back, but you have no control of that. He can announce that if he wants to. It's his Instagram account. He can write whatever he wants, and he does.
Welcome to 2019. That's a sentence. He can do whatever he wants. It's his Instagram account.
There it is. I mean, he can write that. I mean, that's not a binding thing. He wrote that he's coming back, that he has an unfinished business on his Instagram account. You're not kicking the kid out of school. He's finishing up his degree. He didn't get his degree. He can't be a grad transfer the way he wanted to be because he's got 4 more hours to take. So he's doing that now. And whatever he writes on his Instagram, he writes. Now, it causes me and you and a lot of other people to roll our eyes and say, same old with this guy. It's a look-at-me mentality. It's it's frustrating, but you can't stop him from doing that. Now, you would say, encounter perhaps, well, why doesn't Willie say something? Well, really, what's he going to say?
He could give a vote of confidence to James Blackman as the starting quarterback in the spring. The problem is he turned the keys over to Kendall Briles.
Correct.
And that's probably Kendall's call, but Kendall hasn't said word one publicly.
Not going to until everything gets resolved the way it needs to get resolved with the coaching staff, which we're still waiting on as well. I mean, I'm going to assume, it does certainly seem like, and I think if we were applying the percentages to it, that Clements is going to come in here as an offensive line coach and that Dugans is going to come back to Florida State as a receivers coach and that they're going to hire a defensive backs coach or a coach to help in that area and juggle some guys around. But there's a lot of pieces of the puzzle that aren't yet completed, and you also aren't exactly inviting a whole lot of conversation surrounding Kendall Briles if you can help it, because there's a PR element to all of that. So it leaves you in limbo, and it leads to an anxiousness, I think, that is shared by many in the fan base, but I think you got to be careful about not drawing certain conclusions. It's going to be very important, the decisions that Willie Taggart makes moving forward in regards to DeAndre Francois. But I don't know that he's in a position right now to say anything publicly, nor should he. We are in a situation where the APR score was so dangerously low that you cannot just kick kids off. You can't just say, well, you're not coming back. I'm not having you back. You're not in that position to do that. You need him to graduate.
Well, that's all well and good, but the problem is that what this represents is more of a cluster at the same position where everybody is sensitive. This is the same day where George Campbell and Nasir Upshur also put their names in the transfer.
And we don't care at all, yeah.
That would be an oh, by the way, footnote story today, especially on schedule day. You're ruining my schedule day.
Hold on
this
now.
Transfer portal news.
Hold on, I'm saving schedule day. Damn it, I've got schedule day on the horizon, but we've got to work through some things.
But I think you can just objectively say at this point that they butchered the quarterback situation last year, right? From fall camp through the end of the season with the way they organized the redshirting of James Blackman, the power structure of DeAndre Francois being able to speak for the head coach in November about who is the starting quarterback, and the fact that, well, Willie understands that and James understands that. You're going to let him speak for you without repercussions? You butchered the situation, man. And so I don't know if it led to locker room division. That's one thing that you can kind of see from the outside because an awful lot of players seem to say an awful lot of nice things about James Blackman, starting with Cam Akers back in Charlotte in July when he said, if you could have one person with you in a fight, who would it be? And he said, I want James Blackman by my side. That raised some eyebrows then. The players seem to play harder for James, so it's about what he represents. And he was a great leader at every turn when DeAndre was rolled back out there time after time after time. And now if that guy is at least weighing his options publicly, willing to say publicly through this particular bit of news that I don't know if this is the right place for me, yeah, I can understand where a fan base says, well, what's going on? You guys can't have conversations behind the scenes?
I think that we're getting used to the new reality of kids having a lot more power in regards to where they play and whether or not they stay or leave. And I think that it's going to be a hard thing for us to get adjusted to, because I think that this is going to be the norm now, that guys are going to look after their number one. And because it's not binding, they're going to gauge their options. They're going to figure out who's interested, who isn't, how interested they are, what kind of pitches they hear. And, you know, I always say this. I think you have to entertain everything. It doesn't mean you have to leave the place you work for now. It doesn't mean you're disloyal if you listen to somebody else. But you owe it to yourself to hear what's being offered. And I think kids will do that regardless if they intend to leave or not. Just because, again, nothing is required of you to do that other than to sit back and listen to the offers. And it's empowering. But it doesn't mean that we should jump to conclusions about why or what the incentive is. I'd prefer that the guy who I think is probably the front runner to be your starting quarterback next year not have his name in the portal. But so do a lot of schools right about now. I don't know if you saw David Hale's stat. I don't want to – I'll paraphrase it. I'll find it during the show. But he brought up a stat from – depending on the class that you're looking at, if you came in, if it was 2015, 2016, 2017, like very high percentage of quarterbacks have either transferred or put their names in the portal already, because that option's available to them now if things haven't gone the way that they had hoped that they would when they committed originally.
Sure, but the problem here is that you don't have Trevor Lawrence or Jameis Winston to kick people off of, your two deep.
Oh, no.
Which is Jameis is here, Clint Trickett. Let's just go back in time. He would have put his name in the transfer portal. Everybody said, all right, that makes total sense. Or Jake Coker would have put his name in the transfer portal and said, well, you have Jameis Winston. Even this past season.
We don't have that guy, right.
Kelly Bryant's out of Chapel Hill the same time that Clemson's playing a football game, and he's slapping five with fans because he's looking for the next place to play because he didn't feel welcome anymore, and Trevor Lawrence is the quarterback.
Think he looked across at a superior product.
Of course, but we are devoid of that five-star or that future All-American player, and so James has a pretty clear shot to be the quarterback here at Florida State. A fair chance.
Very well might.
Very well might. But then he puts his name in the portal anyway. And so you're going, well, what's missing here? Why would you do that in this particular situation? What are you feeling? Because it can't just be about opportunity to play. You have the opportunity to play right here, right now.
Yeah, I don't know what his motives are. I don't know if it's sending a message, like I said earlier, if it's gauging interest from others and purely that. I don't know. We don't know lots of things as it pertains to the quarterback. Like, I don't know. Is Jordan Travis going to get a waiver approved? I don't know that either. We are recruiting a high school kid as well that's expected to sign. So if you're looking at depth chart, you got the McDonald kid. You've got, obviously, James Blackman if he's still here. You've got Jordan Travis and then whoever the high school kid is. I guess there's still time. Maybe you get a grad transfer. Doesn't look like that's going to happen now.
Like, if you have that player, like a strong candidate at quarterback. Like, I'd even feel better if we knew that Travis was going to get a waiver. And he said, okay, well, he's Kendall Briles' guy, and it's his offense, and so he wants somebody who knows can run his offense for sure. I'd feel a little bit better about it, but what this reeks of is just a little bit of dysfunction because you don't have a clear-cut number one. In most situations, I think, in the future, when these transfer portal things come up, it's because somebody else walks in the door. So, like the Tate Martell thing, people are laughing at him today.
And they should be.
Because he was criticizing.
He was a bold...
Right.
Overly obnoxious, cocky, yes.
Right. So here comes Fields, and now he goes to Miami.
I gotta leave.
Right. But Fields came in the door, so that's the thing here.
Yeah, but he had spoken some great bravado about all that prior, but okay.
But the logic of it is, all right, well, I'm not going to beat that kid. Maybe I was bluffing, maybe I wasn't. I'm not judging him. That's for another discussion.
I am.
But you get my point, is like there's really not a clear-cut answer of who's going to be the starter here. So that's what makes this unique. And if he is sending a message, not saying that he is, but if that's the truth, it reminds me of Jimbo going to the media for the practice facility. That means that the communication lines have broken down, that you can't talk about it in a room as two men, that you need to send a message through this transfer portal thing?
I don't know if that's what that means. It might feel that way, but I don't know. Again, Kendall Briles is going to be taking care of the offense in this situation, so I don't know what our head coach is going to come out and say here. I think he would probably prefer to handle it behind closed doors. I don't know that James Blackman is sending a message. He might be. He could just be weighing his options. He could be very comfortable with what's going on here, but still would like to know what else is out there. That's not unreasonable. That's what's going to be the new norm. I have a suspicion that there'll be kids who are in prime position to start and dominate and put up big numbers and further their career at places in the future. And we're going to find out about their names being in the portal because what can it hurt? Let's find out who else is out there dying for my services.
You don't think it can hurt the program?
Our program right now?
Yeah, you don't think it's a negative thing for the program, that it's not good for the staff or the locker room or camaraderie? I mean, if you're supposed to be doing off-season workouts or whatever and your name's in the portal, it's like, well, I don't trust you. You're not even going to be here. How am I going to know you're going to be here? You think players look at it like that? Maybe they don't.
I don't know. I don't know how players gauge it at this point. I think we're still trying to gather information and find that thing out because we don't know. And it's new. It's new to all of us. This hasn't been a reality. These players have never had this kind of authority, this kind of power in their hands to exercise it. And so I think we're probably inclined right now, especially in the wake of a disastrous season, to think of the worst, to think that everything is a sign of things going further south. And I get that because I do agree that there's an anxiousness to this offseason and a sort of foreboding feel about where we're at because of how badly the team played this year, how poorly they look to be coached this year. And no matter what we say about that offensive line, there were a lot of other things. There were a myriad of other things that went wrong that fall at the feet of Willie Taggart. And so there's a level of distrust that was built up in a 5-7 campaign that leads to anything that could be perceived as negative happening in the offseason as being exactly that no matter what. Because people are scared. I mean, we're in some uncharted waters here.
Well, and you have evidence that they butchered the quarterback situation last year. But the difference this time is that it's Kendall's offense. It's not Willie's offense. And so this should be Kendall Briles' call.
Right. But
so
what's
where is
he
he in the equation?
Well, and that's what I mean. He's not going to state anything publicly right now. He hasn't even had a press conference yet. And we haven't even put together the rest of the coaching staff yet. There's a lot of stuff here, and there's National Signing Day coming up. There's a lot of there are a lot of moving parts. And I just don't think you're going to get a public statement that would in some way diffuse this situation to where you're comfortable. I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah, the problem is it's too late for that now, because if you do, then you're acquiescing to...
And you're reacting.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so you look
now
weak in that moment.
Now you look like you're scared.
So it's too late. Like that moment is past. Like clearly there was not enough communication between...
Well, maybe there was. Maybe he went to him and said, I'm going to put my name in the portal. And they went... What the hell are they going to do? Promise him the job? I don't think they were going to do that publicly. Well, I don't know what purpose that serves. To come out now with a new offensive coordinator who hasn't assessed the personnel yet, you're going to come out and say, well, James is our starting quarterback, so that you avoid him putting his name in the portal? I don't think you're going to do that.
Well, nobody's saying that, but I think what's going on here is he's frustrated by the idea that...
He's frustrated that DeAndre Francois went on Instagram and told everybody he had unfinished business and that he was coming back again, whether that's true or not, and he wants to get a feel for just where he's at in this process.
Right, he can't get an answer, though, because it's dependent upon...
Maybe he wants him to put up or shut up, and that coming into a room and having a guy say, listen, I assure you, you're going to get every opportunity. He's, I need a little bit more.
I've heard that before.
I need a little bit more. Put my name in the damn portal. We'll see what else is out there. Not saying I'm leaving, but I'm going to go find out what my options are, and we'll talk more. They have a little more authority now, the kids do. I like that. I don't like that what it means for us in terms of worry, but I'm okay with these guys now having a little bit more control of their future.
Yeah, I'm okay with the fact that, James takes a little longer to trust in this situation. I understand why. There's logic to the move if you're just looking at it from the standpoint of, hey, man, I'll play. Oh, wait, you're going to shirt me or not? What are we doing? Okay, so let's shirt me, but you played me in the wake of the Clemson game. Could have used me. Well, stretch here.
I think what's interesting here, and where I think it's important that Coach Taggart get this right, and I don't know what his decision is going to be or how he's going to go about the process of letting us know what that is or handling it behind the scenes. I don't know any of that. This is all speculation, but I think it's very important the decision he makes next regarding DeAndre Francois. You're not going to kick the kid out of school who's trying to finish up his degree. A, you're encouraging kids to go to school and get their degree. B, our APR score is such that you need him to go to class and get his degree. So you weren't going to, in the wake of that Instagram post, say, wait a minute, that's his mouth running amok again. It's a look at me move, as he's accustomed to do, and I'm not going to stand for it. Rest assured, he's not starting for us. He wasn't going to do that. It's a delicate, dicey deal. But that doesn't mean there isn't a very big decision for him to make about how to handle this come the spring, how to handle this moving forward. Ideally, for your sanity and mine and for many others, we would love for him to go, well, by all means, get your degree, but you're not playing football here anymore.
You know what really sucks about this is it would never have taken the ugly turn if DeAndre didn't speak out of turn to the media.
More than once.
You know what I mean, though? Like, because the narrative up to that point, and it was true from at least the surface view, which he's making an effort. DeAndre's making an effort to be a better leader, and there was a lot of truth to that. You could see it. He was more engaged. He wasn't as aloof. He was trying to do stuff on the ground. But then everything changed the moment that he was available to the media and spoke for Willie and spoke for James, saying that they understand he's the starting quarterback, when that was kind of breaking news and in-house stuff. You broke the code.
Yeah, and man, that's such a that situation is more complicated than sometimes I guess give it credit for. I mean,
even if he's right, you can't say it because Willie hadn't. He was keeping it in the dark who the starter was going to be.
These are verbal missteps from a kid who has shown levels of selfishness and immaturity that rub us all the wrong way, and it's led to a level of vitriol that I don't know is completely fair based on his, at times, more than valiant efforts to do something with nothing in front of him while he's taking an ass kicking. Like, I've never doubted his toughness, his competitive fire, at times, stretches of play where he's really good. You know, I don't like talking about him like he did something off the field akin to a crime, to where he put shame on the program in his name. You know, that really hasn't happened with him. I know there's a little incident with his girlfriend or whatever, and he's trying to kick her out of the house and all that stuff. But
that read okay for him.
Yeah, that actually read really well. Right.
Yeah,
I mean,
he restrained. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, listen. I'm ready to move on. I've made that abundantly clear. I think at that position more than any other, you need a guy that reveals himself to be unselfish, to be steady, to be reliable, to be a great teammate, to be focused on others and understand the bigger picture, and to not talk out of school and not shine the light on yourself. I've said all of those things. I've been very critical of him. And at the same time, I know how this sounds. I can hear it when we talk about it, that sometimes it feels over the top. Our desire to move on leads us to paint him as this, fiendish character that he's not. He's not ideal. I'm ready to move on. He doesn't fit the offense. Let's go. All that was true and fair last year. And, it was true that he was in Orlando Snapchatting with a kid who had been kicked off the team on senior day. And, yeah, he's done things that legitimately you could go, well, that's not cool. That's not what you do. You can't be quarterback and do that here.
Yeah, you don't have to be a criminal to be a bad teammate.
Right. Yeah, he's revealed that, right? And then at the same time, what a dicey deal. What if James leaves? What if you don't get Jordan Travis to get his waiver doesn't get approved? You really going to kick DeAndre Francois off the team? What do you got? You might need it for depth alone. It's dicey. What if James stays and in the midst of a quarterback battle, he hurts himself, blows out his knee? What the hell are you going to do then?
Right. Well, this is
dicey.
It would be nice to hear from the offensive coordinator at some point soon as to who he likes and what he wants his quarterback situation to look like. But he can't know that right now. They're not practicing. He hasn't seen them run his offense. He can look at the film and say that this is a guy that I like this skill set for this reason. I mean, you could.
Don't you think it would be weird before National Signing Day here that you're going to come out and have your offensive coordinator have a press conference and start talking about guys he likes and doesn't like?
Someday soon. I don't mean tomorrow. I mean, because we're already here. It's
but
signing day in 2 weeks.
But maybe that's what James would have needed in order not to put his name in the portal. I'm saying you can't.
I would hope they had a conversation, like the quarterbacks all got in a room and they talked with their new offensive coordinator at some point. I mean, they're allowed to do that.
But I don't know that they haven't. I don't know that they haven't. I just don't know that there's anything we could have done as a staff that would have kept James, short of guaranteeing him the starting job, which I just don't think you're going to do, especially if you don't know about the waiver situation. What if Travis comes in here, he's better?
Sure.
So damn, man.
I think the number one thing he's afraid of is that you're just going to do this DeAndre, half in, half out kind of talk, and then he's going to end up being the starter again just because they like him more.
I agree with that. I agree. I see it from both sides.
Yeah.
I see that they were handcuffed. They couldn't get out in front in the way they wanted. And I see that if I'm James, I'm like, I'm done with words, man. Go ahead and put this out here, and we'll see what's out there in the world for me. Maybe I'm here, maybe I'm not.
This is where we agree. It's another ripple of dysfunction that occurred months ago.
Yeah, and this is why, and we do agree on this, that it just doesn't feel like things are running swimmingly or smoothly. You just kind of feel like it's like he can't catch a break. Like he hasn't made a lot of his own luck here since the start of the season, meaning Coach Taggart, and it also feels like he can't catch a break. Feels a little snake bit.
Yeah. Yeah, well, he got let down by the kids.
And I said to you earlier, and I said on the air a couple weeks ago, when the lawsuit stuff came out, or a week ago, whenever the hell that was, listen, that was always going to happen. This is, that lawsuit.
Yeah.
It's just after a season like this, it gets announced, and you're going, man, this guy needs a piece of good news. Willie Taggart needs some good news.
Right, and this is the opposite of that because it's a heart and soul player at the most important position, one that you don't have a whole lot of depth with. It's the heart and soul part of it, because if you're going to try and change this program and flip it in the image that you speak about when you first take the job, James is the type of guy you build around while you're losing. Not 12.
Yeah, but I think they were waiting on grad transfer news. I think they were waiting on because that would shape the depth chart. They're still we're in a situation.
You could still get a grad transfer, a transfer quarterback.
Right.
And they come available every day.
And I think they're going to get that offensive lineman from Virginia. They're going to get, there's a lot going on here. There's still some good news that could fall into our lap here. We do have the signing day.
The chances of getting the offensive lineman from Virginia, the grad transfer?
Yeah.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. No, I think they're going to get a JUCO transfer. They've already got the one, and they're Dante Lucas has come in. And so I think you got a chance for 4 or 5 guys to reshape the way that offensive line plays and looks, and that's really good news. And no matter who's playing quarterback, if you can't block, it doesn't make a damn bit of difference. So you better get that shirt up real quick. And then from there, you can kind of figure out how that quarterback competition is going to go. But
next up on the list is let's get that waiver for Travis, right? So you have more depth at the very least.
Yeah, and I'm unschooled as to how that works and what would have to happen and whether it is going to happen.
Coaching change is what he would cry, right?
Sure, and also that situation, man, I'm rooting for this kid. We'll maybe have time to get into it down the road, and I want to confirm some things, but that didn't sound like that was the healthiest situation at Louisville. Go figure that Petrino's staff was less than stable, and some things were kind of geared against that kid. So I'm glad he was able to get out, and I'm rooting for that kid. Let's just put it that way. W's and L's. It's a two-time endeavor on the Jeff Cameron Show. Whenever the first schedule comes out, it is out. We have it now. W's and L's up next. We'll do it twice today. We'll do it after this break.
With my own two.
Sorry.
Here, guys. We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
On being healthier, it starts with a good night's rest. You've heard me talk about the tossing and turning I was doing before, but now I wake up feeling great. It's amazing what a difference a good pillow makes. My Pillow had an amazing offer of a 4-pack special. It was such a rare deal at the time, but the good news is this. They've extended their very best offer ever. That's right. Go to MyPillow.com right now. Click on their end-of-the-year special, and here's what you'll find. The lowest price MyPillow has ever offered for their 4-pack, and it includes free shipping. Gets better. Their 60-day money-back guarantee has been extended through March the 1st. Best price ever, free shipping, extended money-back guarantee. What else do you need? Go get it. Go to MyPillow.com, click on the end-of-the-year special, enter my promo code, that's key, 979ESPN, and you'll get 2 premium MyPillows, 2 go-anywhere pillows. Nothing better than a restorative night of rest. Go to MyPillow.com to get it, and enter my promo code, 979ESPN.
T-Spark Enterprises, roofing and construction services. T-Spark, TSparkConstruction.com.
Recently, I've seen a lot of commercials from attorneys and public adjusters trying to cash in on the hurricane damages to your home or business. Using these individuals could result in a reduction in your insurance claim reimbursement. As a licensed roofing and general contractor, we know how to navigate insurance claims so that you don't have to share your reimbursement with an attorney or a public adjuster. If you have questions, give us a call. Our advice is free. Turning your claim over to an attorney or a public adjuster is not.
Call 850-766-1340. T-Spark Enterprises, roofing and construction services. T-Spark, tsparkconstruction.com.
Guys, are you tired of being tired? Frustrated because it seems impossible to lose belly fat? If you're looking for a solution, listen to Dave.
Andro 400, I really love it. I've lost 50 pounds. I was a size 38 waist. I've gone down to a 32 waist. My mood has changed. I don't get stressed out. It gave me so much more energy. It feels like I'm 25. I'm so happy. I'm just a completely different man.
Andro 400 Max, an extra strength, all natural testosterone booster. The safe and affordable way to gain energy and lose stubborn belly fat. Satisfaction guaranteed or your money back. Go to andro400.com or call 888-510-9336. That's 888-510-9336.
Yo, where the hell are you? Dude, I'm here sitting at the bar. Where are you? The hell you are? I've been here for 30 minutes. Erroneous. BS. I've been sitting at this bar for 3 hours drinking pecan whiskey. We said Pensacola, dude. Why would we meet there? We're old men, and that's for the kids. Hashtag Northsiders. Did you just hashtag me? Hashtag hell yes. See you in 30. Get the mahi and a beer.
Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
At CarMax, when we say we buy all the cars, we mean it. Over the last 20 years, we've purchased millions of cars from coast to coast. In the last year alone, we bought a mountain of Mercurys, an armada of Nissans, a ton of Titans, an ocean of Pacificas, and a sea of Siennas. Not to mention a few Hellcats and a couple of Tornadoes. So no matter what you're selling, CarMax is buying. And we'll buy your car even if you don't buy ours. CarMax, we buy all the cars.
Front Row Knowles, featuring Tom Block and Keith Jones, is brought to you by Hobson Chevrolet in Cairo, Georgia. Get your best deal the Hobson way. Catch Front Row Knowles every Wednesday night at 6, right here on 97.9 ESPN Radio. This is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
And away we go. Let's do some W's and L's, friend. Let's all take a big, deep breath and have some fun with it. I think you're going to like it. L's. Wins.
All right. How you doing?
Losses.
Damn it! We lost! We f***ing super lost, man!
Where do we triumph? Where doth thou fall? I was trying to think back to how many years have we been doing W's and L's?
That is probably a 3-year-old, 4-year-old bit. I mean, the actual game goes way, way, way back.
Yeah,
but
the
clip
W's and L's,
itself.
the clip itself goes back not too far. But yeah, we made it more official once that happened. Yes, the schedule is out, and I think it is very favorable for Florida State if we're any good. That latter part is the thing we don't know that seems to have people slightly concerned. The if we're any good part. But the schedule is nice. I mean, thank you, ACC home office.
So the ACC can be reasonable. They have just chosen not to be all these years.
The ACC said, man, we got to help Florida State's ass out. We got to do something here. Let's sprinkle in some buys and some extra time for them to get it together. Let's get it together.
It's like a farm subsidy.
I don't know why I just wanted to yell whose beeper keep beeping and beeping. But they, yeah, man. Boise State and Jacksonville, which, ridiculous. Anyhow, Boise State over in Jacksonville, and that's going to be a very big game on August the 31st. Going to want to go ahead and win that one, guys. If you expect to have, 50 people in the stands for the ULM game. I know that's Hall of Fame weekend, but that alone is not enough to entice the masses if you're 0-1 on the heels of a 5-7 season. So going to want to go ahead and win that game over in Jacksonville.
Yes, we have audio of the stands at Doe Campbell Stadium for that Hall of Fame weekend. And the audio is... That would be flesh sizzling as it's 110 heat index.
I thought you were going to play crickets. Yes. That's just people sitting there burning.
Of flesh.
Yeah, that's just everybody like, oh, this is nice. All right, so we'll have the grandiose, over-the-top W's and L's segment for the drive time 5 o'clock hour, but I don't mind going through this twice because sometimes I think this early process leads to two different results in the same show. I mean, I've seen it before, Tom, that we're a little willy-nilly early on, then we get locked in. About 3 weeks later after signing day, we're like, let's do it again. Let's revisit some of this. Because we go through, there's this one every year, followed by a post-signing day one.
Mm-hmm.
Then we usually wait a good long while. Start of spring, somewhere in there.
Might be after spring
right
football.
After spring football, we do it again. Dead of summer, desperate to get by. Please, God, help save us from the doldrums. Let's do it W's and L's.
Yeah, frankly, we just need that one as a life raft. Yeah.
But not just because I need content in that moment, but because we're just desperate to have anything that allows us to think about football when it's late June, early July. So we do it again there. And then, of course, we do the one in August just before the very start to the actual kickoff, that first week of college football, we do it. So this is one of 4 or 5 times that we do W's and L's if you're new to the program. And you don't always hold it to us until it's or hold us to it until it's late in the campaign. This go around, I'm going to guess that we get a lot better on the offensive line because it would be impossible to be worse. I'm going to assume, perhaps unwise to do so, that Landon Dickerson's going to play 6 games for us this year.
Wow.
6?
What a benefit that would be.
7, maybe? 7 games of the 12, Tom?
I mean, what would you set the over-under at realistically? 3.5?
7.
Really?
Man, I can't keep assuming my man is going to be unlucky. I don't think that he's fragile. I think he's just been really unlucky.
I think he's fragile. What? It's the same thing for Cole Minshew. I mean, I'm sorry. It's not their fault.
I agree with you on Cole Minshew. I don't think that's true of Landon.
All right. I hope you're right.
Cole doesn't get my benefit of the doubt. He gets, but Landon does. I think Landon's rugged, man.
They've broken my spirit, man.
You sound broken. So are you picking Boise State over in Jacksonville?
Oh, yeah.
Oh. Okay, I don't even know that we can do this. What are you doing? Come on.
It's a green offensive line. We're going to have a walk-on for a quarterback.
I'm saying 1-0. You're saying 1-1, and I'm disappointed to hear it in your voice. You're broken. You're right. You are broken. You really believe we're going to lose that game, don't you?
There's a lot of moving parts. I mean, I know the offense is similar, but there's going to be some new stuff, man. And Boise State was okay last year. I mean, they'll give you a professional effort unless they lost like everything in their class, which we'll know by the summer of how much they've purged from year to year. I don't know that much right now.
1-0 coming on home for Hall of Fame weekend, buddy. I'm making my way back. That boring drive over from Jacksonville filled the belly with some wings at the landing. It's
a dense cloud of secondhand cigarette smoke and cheap wings.
That's right. It's my once every 4-year sojourn over to the landing to.
I've yet to get out of the car in Jacksonville. I've just driven through it my entire life.
If you're by the beaches, you're in heaven. If you're in Jacksonville proper, then you stay in the car and you keep it moving, unless you want to smell the paper mill.
They've got a paper mill.
It's spread out and stinky. There you go, Jacksonville.
So it's like Perry with taller buildings?
It's okay. It's. I give them grief now almost because I have to. Boise State, Jacksonville, I got 1-0. You've got 0-1. ULM, we're both going to pencil in a win there?
Big time win.
Or will you go pin? Will you use an ink pen, sir?
Oh, in pen, man. We're going to drop 65.
2-0. 1-1. At Virginia in the blinding beauty of Charlottesville. Actually, as we go through this here, again, the schedule comes out today. Let's rapid fire this thing. Boise State, ULM, then Florida State goes on the road against Virginia and Charlottesville. Would have liked to have seen that game later in the year just because of the weather, but nonetheless, all right, we're at UVA. We host Louisville after that. And when I was talking about the schedule being set up, as we look at it kind of seriously for a moment, being set up to succeed, I really think it is. When you just hear the layout of the schedule, Boise State, ULM, at Virginia, home to Louisville, home to NC State. You get a bye week after that before you go to Clemson, whom you could have 3 weeks to prepare for, and you weren't going to beat either way. But it's nice to have a bye week just in case. You go to Clemson. Then you're at Wake Forest after a Clemson game. So if you're licking your wounds, nice to get to play Wake Forest afterwards and say, not Miami or Boston College, right? A physical team like BC.
Sure.
Yeah, so let's say you're licking your wound after Clemson. Well, you already stomped Wake this year, and you sucked this year. You're not going to be worse next year. So I like us there. Home to Syracuse, homecoming. They lose Dungy, so I got to believe that you got a much better chance at home next year to beat Syracuse for homecoming here. We'll see what they are.
Yeah, we survived it 2 years ago, and then obviously last year puts us in a position for a revenge game at Doak Campbell.
You're hosting Miami, who are going through a host of changes themselves, and, you were bad each of the last 2 years, and you barely lost to that team. So every chance in the world to come home and get a win there and end a modest 2-game losing streak. You're at Boston College, then it's home to Alabama State, then it's a bye week before you face Florida on the road at the end of the year. So really you have 3 weeks, frankly, to prepare for the Florida game. Alabama State, bye week, and then Florida.
Yeah, the only thing I could say that I might have rather had was a bye week a little earlier, the second one, because you could play Alabama State right before Florida and be A-okay. But, I mean, that's a small gripe. That's a really small
I would
gripe.
just say any other year, this is a schedule that is custom-made for you to succeed. The question is whether or not we're good enough to win football games against teams that are decent. The answer was a resounding no this past year. We weren't good enough to beat people with a pulse. In fact, most of the time when we played somebody who was good, we lost to them, period. The exception being, and they were good, low-end scale of good, BC. And even then, you needed a fourth-quarter comeback, a last drive, beautiful toss and catch. But, I mean,
So I looked at the 10-5 bye week because we're off October the 5th. That's the first bye week we have. And highlights around this region include LSU hosting Utah State, your favorite.
Oh, that's a betting paradise.
Auburn travels down to play the Gators in Gainesville, and Georgia goes to Rocky Top to play Tennessee. So if you're looking for something to do that weekend, those are 3 options.
What are your Big Ten games that weekend?
I did not look at the Big Ten.
We got to look around at all the conferences, Tom.
Well, I know
look at all the conferences.
Washington heads to Stanford, if I have that right. I believe Oregon hosts a game that weekend.
Okay, there it is.
Yeah.
Got a place to stay. Got a buddy out there. We could go.
I know this person.
Yeah, we could make our way out there to Oregon, go see a game, have a good time in the bye week.
Since there's a double bye week, I feel like it's easier to travel because usually we look at that lone bye week and say, thank you. Okay, we're just going to be a hermit.
I'll get into this more later, and we'll get very specific, but we didn't give a record here, and I think I should. So let me just say this. For all of our problems and the doom and gloom mentality of the fan base currently, and I'm not in any way chastising you for that. I'm not chiding you for that. I get why we're all concerned. I get why we're all frustrated. I do believe with Kendall Briles, this offense is going to be much better. And I do think that if you're just moderately, well, not moderately, if you are middle of the pack in the ACC on the offensive line, a middling offensive line, along with the new offense to go with very real talent at the skill positions, Florida State has a chance to, because the schedule is set up nicely and because the schedule is a lot easier than last year's schedule. You're not on the road at Notre Dame. You're not playing Virginia Tech. There's none of that. You're not on the road at Miami. You really have an opportunity here to see a pretty big turnaround by way of comparison. So 5-7 is awful. If you go 8-4, 9-3, that's a big turnaround from where you were. It doesn't mean that you're a great team. It doesn't mean that all is right in the world, but it's distinctly possible with just some minor improvements on the offensive line. And the way this schedule came out today, I looked at this and said, if you win that first game, it is not unreasonable to then say that you could very well be 4-0, 5-0 before you go to Clemson. Again, is it going out on a limb to say that if you beat Boise State that you're going to beat ULM and can get by Virginia and Louisville, home to NC State? I mean, you're not. There's no marquee game there that says, "Oh, well, now Jeff, that's crazy. You got us beating NC State." They just lost their NFL quarterback. You know, we beat Louisville last year on the road, and we were terrible. ULM's not going to beat us. You could legitimately be 5-0 before you play your first big-time game post-Boise State, and I don't have us beating Clemson, by the way. But what I would say about that is, who knows how that affects psyche and changes belief and the feelings around the program if you're 5-0 and Kendall Briles' offense is lighting it up.
Yeah, I think that first game and that third game, Boise and Virginia, you better be, detail-oriented. You better be sound in your fundamentals.
Agreed. I don't think that is too far ashore to reach. It's not crazy to think that you can get it straightened out enough to win a game against Boise State and Virginia.
It's not. It's not crazy to say that you go 1-1 or you could be in for a dogfight in both of those games either.
I'm not dismissing the chance that we lose those games. I'm not. Just as I don't think one should dismiss the chances we win those games.
Yeah.
I mean, it's we've got speed and talent at the skill positions. It's a matter of, can you block it up even a little bit? And if you can, I think I'll go as far as to say I think you would win those games.
Yeah, if you can run the ball again just a little bit, that'd be nice.
I mean, hint, I think that the chances you dramatically change your fortunes from a record standpoint, again, saying nothing about what that record truly represents.
What the roster is talent-wise, that kind of thing.
Right.
Overall.
I mean, we see teams win 8-9 games in a season. You're like, smoke and mirrors, easy schedule, got a little lucky, not that good, but okay. But sometimes that's all you need, as that works as the impetus or the catalyst for change. Like that engenders a new confidence that wasn't there. It does help that process of changing the culture. And then kids who were otherwise not thinking of you go, okay, the anomaly was 5-7. They've got it back together at Willie's first year. You can see how this narrative shifts very quickly. I can also see a scenario where he makes wrong decisions, doesn't get the situation with Francois right, does something to misstep again, and is a guy that is, about out of here. Yeah, I can see it. But the other side's true, too.
If you were to give a range of wins, so I'm thinking 7-9. Would you go 7-9, 8-10? What do you think when you look at that schedule?
Well, okay, if I'm going to be ultra positive.
The ball bounces a couple of ways. This is the low end. This is the high end kind of a thing.
If you beat Boise and Virginia, if you beat Boise State in Jacksonville and then Virginia at Virginia, then I think you are 5-0. I think you will be 5-0 before facing Clemson on the road. Again, that's a big if. But what I'm saying is, if that's true, I'd put it at 8-10.
Yeah, that makes sense.
If you're 5-0, if you can be 5-0, and it's a big if, but if you can be 5-0, I could put the win range at 8-10 pretty easily.
If you start 5-0, but
big if. Like I said, that Boise State game is almost everything. I mean, you can't lose that game, because you lose that game, it's a here we go again on the heels of a 5-7 season. Now we lose to Boise State. I mean, basically, at that point, anybody who's any good at all that you've ever played in the Willie Taggart era has beaten you.
Yeah, and you'll have to wait a little while to change that. I could see them easily losing that game, but then having a decent season.
Not me. I don't. I think if they lose that game, they're not going to have a decent season.
Ooh.
I think that game
So that game is the season.
Well, I mean, you got to play these other teams, and there are better teams than Boise State on our schedule. I got you, but I think it gives you a chance to have a good year, relatively speaking. You lose that game, and people are going to feel like more of the same. We're in for more of the same, and people's feelings in this program at the end of this past year weren't good, and I think you'll have a dead atmosphere over there. You'll have a hard time getting the buy-in factor in that locker room. I mean, how many times do they got to lose games against teams with a pulse before they say, I don't know, man, if they haven't already?
Boy, there's a lot on
There's
the line.
a lot on the line in
Jacksonville.
that game, yeah. But I would put it at the 8 to 10 range. We'll get more specific with W's and L's in the 5 o'clock hour, but I do think there's a lot on the line. I'm going to be nervous as hell driving over there. I'm not kidding. I'm like, you sons of bitches better win this game.
And nothing about the spring or the fall. Look, you won't believe how athletic this team is. The whisper around camp. I don't give a damn.
You don't want to hear it, yeah. I'm with you. I don't want to hear it either.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Thank you, Genesis. Union, they got it at Games for Less. Games for Less, the Super Walmart Shopping Center on Appalachian Parkway. Give them a call today at 850-219-3535. That's Games for Less.
Hi, this is Gene Deckeroff for Tallahassee Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, Fiat. 2019 is here, and we've got to get rid of all the remaining 2018s. And the only way to do that is to offer employee pricing on over 50 Jeep Wranglers in stock. We've never been able to offer such unbelievable prices on Jeep Wranglers, and with over 50 in stock, they all must go. Buy one for as low as $29,900 or save up to $5,600 on in-stock vehicles. The all-new 2019 Ram 1500 is Motor Trend Truck of the Year, and it's breaking all kinds of records. We have over 80 Ram 1500s in stock with up to $11,000 off MSRP. You can't go wrong. Motor Trend Truck of the Year and up to $11,000 off MSRP. It's the deal of the year. There's only one place to go. Tallahassee Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, Fiat on the corner of West Tennessee and Capitol Circle. We're right on the corner and always right on the price. Or visit us on the web at TallahasseeDCJ.com. Dealer retains all rebates and incentives plus tax, tag, and dealer fee.
All right, Peloton, keep it going. Thanks for riding with me today. You're halfway through this 30-minute hip-hop ride.
Now double your money and make it stack.
For all my first-time Peloton riders, how far will you go this year? Remember, your finish line is just the beginning. Get after it.
Learn more about the Peloton bike at onepeloton.com.
Have you ever noticed when you report an accident or a claim to an insurance company, they are very eager to get you to one of their approved body shops. They say that they guarantee the shops work, but what they're really saying is the shop works for them, not the customer. So choose a shop that is working for and looking out for you, someone you trust. It's your choice. Lisa's Paint and Body.
License number MP46050.
In 1945, Jack Whitten started a glass company in Tallahassee. Now, over 70 years and 3 generations later, it's still working every day, doing just as Jack wanted, giving his customers real solutions for replacing window glass, providing custom-cut mirrors, and supplying superior bath and shower enclosures. Local building contractors know Whitten Glass takes care of Tallahassee business. They prefer Whitten because of their precision and mastery of eye-catching storefront glass and countertop glass. It's a fact. When you choose Whitten Glass, you're working with real glass people who will take care of you to your complete satisfaction. It's what Jack Whitten wanted, and it's been the Whitten way of doing business for over 70 years. Whitten Glass, Tallahassee's first family in glass since 1945. Call Whitten Glass today or visit them online, 850-222-5781 or whittenglass.com.
Back again and bigger and better. An all-new monster truck lineup including Bigfoot. The Traxxas Monster Truck Tour brought to you by Safety Clean. Bigfoot and more, plus freestyle motocross side-by-sides and quad wars brought to you by Florida Motorsports. Advanced kids tickets from just $8 at TuckerCivicCenter.com. The box office, MonsterTruckTour.com, or charge at 850-583-4871. Subject to service fees. The Traxxas Monster Truck Tour. January 26th and 27th, Dowdell Tucker Civic Center.
At CarMax, when we say we buy all the cars, we mean it. Over the last 20 years, we've purchased millions of cars from coast to coast. In the last year alone, we bought a mountain of Mercurys, an armada of Nissans, a ton of Titans, an ocean of Pacificas, and a sea of Siennas. Not to mention a few Hellcats and a couple of Tornadoes. So no matter what you're selling, CarMax is buying. And we'll buy your car even if you don't buy ours. CarMax, we buy all the cars.
Driving every day from the Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat Studios. This is 97.9 ESPN Radio, WTSM, Woodville, Thomasville, Tallahassee.
With a Bloomberg Business of Sports report, I'm Michael Barr. Tazunkazu Takada, the president of the Japanese Olympic Committee and a powerful IOC member, again denied corruption allegations against him, suggesting that any guilt was with others at the Japanese body. The bribery scandal has cast a shadow over the upcoming Olympics in Tokyo that open in 18 months. It also underscores efforts by the International Olympic Committee to clean up its bidding process. It looks like daily fantasy sports will fuel U.S. sports betting at casinos and racetracks rather than hurt wagers. In a Bloomberg Intelligence report, many fantasy sports app users bet on real games, and app owners, DraftKings and FanDuel, have opened physical sports books. About $15 to $30 billion a year is spent on fantasy contests based on an industry estimate, topping sports bets in Nevada and New Jersey. And that is a Bloomberg Business of Sports report. I'm Michael Barr.
Broadcasting live from the Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee. This, The Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Cornerstone Tool and Fastener on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
I love you guys. Hour number 2 forthcoming. It's now. It ain't forthcoming, it's now. I got sidetracked in laughter. My email and my Twitter feed is making me laugh. We're online, ESPNTallahassee.com. It's where you want to go if you find the show and stream it. It's also where you can go to find archived audio when the show's over. Email the show if you want, JCS at 979ESPNradio.com. Find me on Twitter at JCameronShow. Also at 979 ESPN Radio if you want to Periscope the program. Is it? Nah, that's a dumb question. I'll get back to this. Went through the W's and L's briefly in that first hour, and I'm getting the Mayweather throwing the L's. We're on YouTube as well. Hello, YouTubers. It's going to be funny, Tom, if they win a few games early to watch this shift, and if they lose it, to watch the ship sink. It's our fan base is all or nothing right now. There is no nuance. There is no measured response to where we are. I'm not surprised. Again, a lot of the stuff that comes around here, it's born, again, out of frustration of last year, and I feel that. I'm with you. But I also don't mean I don't think it means that it can't be righted. But there is a large segment of the fan base that Willie lost with that season. And then they're not going to believe. They don't see any way. Now, that's a group of fatalists, and if at some point next year it looks like that's going to be the case, we're not going to be afraid to say it.
I'm not a fatalist, but it's a show and prove year. I got to see it. You know,
all
of the booster tour talking points and preseason talking points aren't going to do diddly, man.
No.
You got to win some games early on and look good. You got to look good while you do it. Look good while you lose to Clemson. You know, don't get blown out.
Yeah, stop losing to people by 30-plus points. I don't disagree with any of that. It's like people forget, though, we're 5-6 under Jimbo in his last year. We sucked terribly the year previous. And, hell, that team that won 9-10 games was a 6-loss team, too. They were garbage as well. I mean, this has been crashing into the side of the mountain for 4 years. It's not, we didn't just wake up and go, oh, my God, we went from being dominant to 5-7. No, we sucked the year prior.
Right. It's not Jimbo's mess anymore, though.
No, I'm not blaming. No. What I'm pointing out to the fan that is this kind of fatalist, it's like they watched this past season and went, oh, my God, where did this come from? How did we get so bad? Well, we sucked. We were terrible the year before. Terrible. I mean, this isn't new. It's not like you can say, well, we went from a penthouse to the outhouse just like that. No, this was coming. This has been coming. My greater concern is how bad we've been for 4 years. Now, this year sucked as well.
Yeah, the problem was...
It was a continuation of where we were going, and we thought, well, wait a minute, we're hiring you to fix the problem. You didn't do anything to fix the problem.
Right, it was like a revolving door. It's like the incompetence was replaced by incompetence in a lot of ways.
Yes, without question, and he owns that. That's his. But don't act like it came from, this sterling, pristine thing of beauty where everything was all right, and then, oh, my God, we're off the cliff. What happened? You bastard, you came in here and you just steered us into the side. No, we were awful. You were tasked with fixing it. You inherited a mess, true, but we didn't get any better. We got worse, and you didn't do anything to help yourself. Yes, that's true.
Yeah, we got worse. That was the interesting thing. It was hard to get worse given the history of the program and, the no bowls thing, or always going to the bowls.
Well, I think we were worse in some areas that made it really, this is an unpalatable situation. I mean, I didn't think it was possible to be any worse on special teams than we were under Jimbo in his final 2 years. I didn't think it was possible. I was like, oh, well, thank God. At the very least, I would have never wished for this kind of, coaching disarray and problems off the field and losing a guy that won us a national title. I would have never wanted this. But now that it's happened, at least I know we're going to be better on special teams. No, we're not. Not at all. And that, yes, that leads to animosity. I didn't like the way that the locker room kind of got poisoned there, and there was uneven discipline being handed out, which led to a further demise in the culture. And God, I wouldn't have liked all this to happen the way that it did. But at least with a new coach, we'll get that righted and we'll move in the right direction and start the culture down a different path. No, we won't. No, not at all.
Look, he's doing single digits. That means that the right kind of guys are going to get rewarded.
Yeah.
He gave 8 to who?
Right. Yeah, so that's correct. So you can have an equal parts amount of frustration and anger towards the last few seasons. And unfortunately, it's what's led to people believing it's just not going to get right. Josh writes, the biggest L is the season ticket holder with this home schedule. Stop giving away games. don't disagree.
This man has a point.
I hate it. It rings hollow. I get, it's the classic Matt Millen situation, drafting receivers. Just because you draft a receiver and he doesn't work out doesn't mean you don't need a receiver. You do. So you got to keep drafting them. And if you keep whiffing, you still need a receiver. But it gets old, right? And so when you tell me we need more money, got to have more money, got to take some of these games, these neutral site games, because we need the money, we could use the money, and then we go play Alabama for all the money, and we go over to Orlando and play Ole Miss for the money, and then we go, year in and year out, this is what you do. You go somewhere else to play a game for the money, and we're still crying about money. Now, it doesn't mean we don't need money, but each time we do this, you say it's for the money, and now I keep being told that we don't have any money. It feels like Millen drafted another receiver, doesn't it? Like, still need one. We still need the money, Jeff. Got it. I get it, how it works. Just doesn't seem like they're paying us enough at this point. We're not remedying our problems.
Boy, Father O'Reilly, I thought the roof was fixed, but I guess you're right. We just need more money for the roof. Here you go. Second collection, no problem.
Pass it around. So let's clarify a couple things. We'll have to do this a lot because we're getting a lot of calls on this. James Blackman's name, we don't think, is officially in the portal as of right now, but it will be. All indicators are that he is putting his name in the portal, and that has led to speculation that he is gone. And I want to make this part of it clear. We'll go over this again. We already did last hour. I'll do it again more thoroughly next hour, just that I don't want to get bogged down on this the whole time. But for the people who are hopping in going, wait a minute, I heard today I was leaving work and I heard that James Blackman's name's in the portal. We're losing Blackman. Just because you put your name in the portal does not mean you're leaving. We've already had kids put their name in the portal and announce they're coming back. But it is new, and it has a lot of people confused, frustrated, worried, scared, whatever you want to say. But it doesn't mean James Blackman's going anywhere. It doesn't mean he isn't, but it doesn't mean that he is. So we had 4 or 5 callers during the last break. So if we've lost James, what do we do now? Who's starting at quarterback? Is DeAndre going to play quarterback, or is he going to? Does Jeff still think he's leaving? I mean, who do we have on the roster? Is there another grad transfer we can go after now that Jalen Hurts has decided to go to Oklahoma?
Does Bailey Hockman want to come back?
No, I don't know that that this means that James Blackman's leaving, but it is a way for him certainly to gauge interest and to kind of get a feel for what's out there. And I don't think that's a necessarily a good thing, but a kid gauging options can be just that. And it's open now. He's open to have discussions with other schools.
At the risk of not seeing an obvious example recently or something along those lines, have we been ever in as much limbo in so many ways as a football program as we are right now? I mean, you think about it with the coaching staff and finishing off those hires and the quarterback situation with James now. Should I stay? Should I go? DeAndre Francois, I don't know. The Travis kid, I don't know. Is he going to come in and get a waiver and be immediately eligible to play football this upcoming season?
Well, and that's another part of the answer to the question that people just were calling in about. Jordan Travis is going to be here. We just don't know if he's going to get a waiver approved, to Tom's point. If he does, then he would be eligible to be a quarterback. That's Devin Travis's brother, and it's a kid that Jimbo recruited originally. He is a dual-threat kid, and he's 6'3" and athletic. So I don't know, but we don't know if he can play right away.
Usually this time of year you're in limbo just because of recruits and visits and, are they going to stick with their commitment? Can we flip somebody late? But there's so many more levels to it this time around. And it's not because George Campbell put his name in the transfer portal.
You don't think that's the reason for the limbo?
Which did happen. That is true. George is now in the transfer portal, and so is Pops Upshur. So there you go there.
1 to 10, how concerned are you about the portal here? About Blackman's name being in the portal?
About James? Well, even if he doesn't go, it's a 6 or a 7 because of what it stands for. Because he's got a clean shot at the job here. This is not there's a transfer coming in, wink, wink, nod, nod, he's Bryle's guy. I don't think Travis is, even if he gets the waiver, I don't know that he has like this fast pass, Disney fast pass path to getting the starting job. So in most situations when quarterbacks are transferring or putting their name in the portal, it's because either somebody's coming in as a hotshot recruit or they're getting a grad transfer from somewhere else. Not that the job is open and available. That's the unique thing about this one to me, unlike most others.
I would say, to answer your question, you're going back to the Emerald Bowl and the Music City Bowl and all those years, the end of Coach Bowden's career. We were looking at a 7-6 season in 2009, an awful season by and large. A 5-loss season in 2005. You have a 5th place finish in the Atlantic in 2006, a 4th, a 2nd, a 3rd, mounting losses, 6 losses and 4 losses and 5 losses and 6 losses. And the Jeff Bowden stuff was weighing over us. And those were years where I thought, man, unless they force a legend out of, the program, this could go on for a very long time because it didn't look like he was going to walk away. And I remember feeling very much in limbo. And I think you do too. But I remember feeling very much in limbo, like, well, we went, 9-5 and 10-3 and 8-5 and all these. Like, what are we doing? We're Florida State. There's 5 and the ACC too. I was looking at records in the ACC. I remember there was that long stretch where it was like 40 games. We were 20-20, and it was just that was awful.
I mean, shoot, if you look at our ACC record the last few years, I mean, it mirrors some of that. It might be worse than some of those because the conference is better now overall than it was in those days. You could pick up some easy wins even when you were down. Not the case anymore.
Fisher's last year, we were 3-5 in the ACC. The previous year, we were 5-3 in the ACC. Prior to that, we lost 2 games in the ACC. So it was trending in the wrong direction. 2 losses in the conference, 3 losses in the conference, 5 losses in the conference. This past year, 5 losses in the conference. So we've had back-to-back 5-loss seasons in the ACC. It's tough times.
I guess I meant more about on the ground kind of stuff, not necessarily future of the program, head coach. But that's a good point. I mean, the lost decade was a decade of limbo. Like, what do we have to? How bad does it have to get before we can move on? That was the definition?
And it was more precarious.
Yeah,
Willie Taggart has no standing at Florida State to where you would afford him this grace period that seems interminable. No, you got next year, man. Let's get it together. We better see some serious signs of growth, or you're in trouble.
Yeah, this could all be over after the 2020 season if it's bad. With Bowden, it was like, yeah,
that was a different feeling. This, with the Bowden thing, you're like, I don't know. It could go on for 7-8 years.
A lot of powerful people at play here. Yeah.
Cool, man. Schedule's out.
Well, at least it's not a light Wednesday in the middle of the week when we're not playing basketball. There's a lot of news today.
There's a lot of news, and that includes things that don't involve Florida State. As we mentioned earlier, that Jalen Hurts is going to go to Oklahoma. It stood to reason that he would. Makes a lot of sense. I thought the only other thing that might be possible would be that he goes to Maryland to go play for Loxley. But it didn't feel like Florida State was a good choice for him. We would have loved it because it gave us an opportunity to maybe win a game or two that we shouldn't have with his legs.
Mine keeps wandering back to Florida State. Do you think we're going to be organized this year? Do you think we're going to be organized behind the scenes? I mean, knowing that there's a problem is not the definition of being able to fix it. You know what I mean? Like, it's not enough, I should say.
I think the desperation shown by going out and hiring Kendall Briles, that's not a knock on Kendall Briles' acumen for the game. It's a knock on Coach Taggart. But also praise simultaneously for understanding that you have a lot bigger things to worry about than the next play. So go find the best guy possible to call said next play and get it together behind the scenes, because this reeked of disorganization. So this whole thing has to be about that, about getting it right behind the scenes. Because the on-the-field product, if you get a modicum of improvement, once again on the offensive line, and you bring in an elite play caller, it's going to be better. That's just going to be better because he is a proven commodity. The other stuff that you're asking about, this is what it frees him up to do. If he doesn't, then he will deservedly be fired soon.
Yeah, I guess the hard part is, you're waiting for this relaunch of the era, right, of his tenure at Florida State, because he's redefining his job, his day-to-day responsibilities, especially when you get in season. But you can't fill out your staff because there are reasons, legitimate reasons.
Say, that's not,
but it feels like you're never allowed to get this thing started.
Yeah,
you know?
It feels like you're having a hard time getting the mower going, man. Well, I have pulled this damn chain. How many times can we get this thing to start? I agree. He feels snakebit right now, and I get a sense just from the reaction we get from fans that, you know, our fans. I'd say about 3 categories that I can think of here, but 2 of the most prominent are the ones that are, hey, look, man, give the man time. He inherited a nightmare. It was worse than what people realized in that locker room. And he came in, made some missteps, but he's got my support. The guy cares deeply about the university, gave $1 million of his own money. He's all Noel. You know that about him. I'm going to support him. I'm gonna give him my backing. There's that group, right? Then there's the group of, man, you had me there, but that product last year, that reeked of incompetence.
It was so bad that it actually spent all of your equity, and now you are in the red, you know?
Correct.
Yeah.
There's that group.
Sounds like I'm on that side. I'm not necessarily.
No, I mean, I feel like those are the 2 most prominent groups that are like, man, what are you doing? I'm in the category of 2 fingers to my eyes, 2 fingers to you.
There's the category. That's
the category I'm in. Hey, I mean, listen, the man, I love the man. Nice guy, good guy, human being. We'll sit and talk to you. Good family guy, cares about the university, passionately, wants to win, is going to effort to do so with all of his power. Hates what happened this last year. Believe me, nobody's more pissed about it than he is. But having said that, hey, man, 2 fingers to my eyes, because I'm about winning.
I think this is the first time you've actually declared that in regards to this situation, the 2 fingers.
That doesn't mean I'm done with you. It never means I'm done with you.
No, it doesn't.
It means 2 fingers to my eyes, 2 fingers. And we've had to do this with employees that we've worked with, Tom. Yep. Mm-hmm. We've had to do it. You and I have 2 fingers to my eyes, 2 fingers back to you meetings where we decide, are we both on that page? Not to each other, but we'll do the thing where I'll say, I want to talk to you. Yeah, good. I want to talk to you too. And we'll go, what do you think of so-and-so? And then we both will go, it's 2 fingers to my eyes time. We're not washing our hands, but we're just getting on the same page. Hey, 2 fingers to my
That's an important Cameron Show step, though. That's an important step.
Okay. Well, I'm there. I'm at the 2 fingers to my eyes, 2 fingers back to you, which I'm hoping at some point we'll be able to address again. Maybe I'll put my fingers back in my pocket.
We've stood down.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
In-stock vehicles. The all-new 2019 Ram 1500 is Motor Trend Truck of the Year, and it's breaking all kinds of records. We have over 80 Ram 1500s in stock with up to $11,000 off MSRP. You can't go wrong. Motor Trend Truck of the Year and up to $11,000 off MSRP. It's the deal of the year. There's only one place to go. Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat on the corner of West Tennessee and Capitol Circle. We're right on the corner and always right on the price. Or visit us on the web at TallahasseeDCJ.com. Dealer retains all rebates and incentives plus tax, tag, and dealer fee.
24/7, 365. You're up and at 'em every day, so you don't want something like Medicare Part D to slow you down. At Walgreens, we'll take care of your Medicare Part D prescriptions, saving you time and money. Make the switch to Walgreens today and get more by earning 100 balance reward points and save up to $5 on each Medicare Part D prescription when Walgreens is your preferred pharmacy. Walgreens, trusted since 1901. Prescription savings applies to Tier 1 generics when you fill at a preferred versus a non-preferred pharmacy on select plans. Points can't be earned in New York, New Jersey, or Arkansas. Other restrictions and limitations apply.
Want better gas mileage and a longer-lasting engine? Change your oil every 3 months or 3,000 miles, whichever comes first. You know that sticker on your windshield? Don't look at it now. Wait until the next red light. Okay, check the number on your sticker. Then check your odometer. Is it ton? There are 19 Tallahassee area Super Lube locations, which means there's one close to you right now. No appointments, and you're in and out in no time. You can do this today. Super Lube, for better gas mileage and a longer-lasting engine.
How I love to Super Lube my car. Yes, sir.
Eat, sleep, fish. Mike's Marine Supply and Skeeter Boats want to get you out on the open water. They're your local Skeeter dealer, custom rigged with the Yamaha outboards. Stocked with a full line of Skeeter boats from the Bass to the Saltwater Bay Series, Skeeter has been recognized for 18 consecutive years as the leader in customer satisfaction for fiberglass outboard boats. Check in at Mike's Marine Supply for the spring specials starting soon. Located at 1296 Coastal Highway, Panacea, Florida, call Mike's Marine at 984-5637. Online at mikesmarinetallahassee.com.
At CarMax, when we say we buy all the cars, we mean it. Over the last 20 years, we've purchased millions of cars from coast to coast. In the last year alone, we bought a mountain of Mercurys, an armada of Nissans, a ton of Titans, an ocean of Pacificas, and a sea of Siennas. Not to mention a few Hellcats and a couple of Tornadoes. So no matter what you're selling, CarMax is buying. And we'll buy your car even if you don't buy ours. CarMax, we buy all the cars.
Just like football, when it comes to the court of law, you're going to need a solid defense. I'm Michael D. Blank, attorney with the Law Office of Jose Fernandez in Tallahassee. At the Law Office of Jose Fernandez, there is never an upfront fee, and if we don't recover, then you don't pay anything. Our team is dedicated to handling all types of accident, injury, negligence, malpractice, and wrongful death cases. If you're unable to come to us, we can come to you day or night. Call us now, 855-HOSE-305, for your free consultation today. The Law Office of Jose Fernandez. We don't get paid until you do. Offices, Tallahassee, Miami. JRFinjury.com. Go Noles.
Guys, are you tired of being tired? Frustrated because it seems impossible to lose belly fat? If you're looking for a solution, listen to Dave.
Andro 400, I really love it. I've lost 50 pounds. I was a size 38 waist. I've gone down to a 32 waist. My mood has changed. I don't get stressed out. It gave me so much more energy. It feels like I'm 25. I'm so happy. I'm just a completely different man.
Andro 400 Max, an extra strength, all natural testosterone booster. The safe and affordable way to gain energy and lose stubborn belly fat. Satisfaction guaranteed or your money back. Go to andro400.com or call 888-510-9336. That's 888-510-9336.
Hi, this is Peter Bond, owner of Jerry's Cigar Shop. Jerry's has been a local favorite for cigar enthusiasts for the last 25 years. We have the largest walk-in humidors in town, filled to the brim with an amazing cigar selection. Relax in one of our leather chairs and enjoy an ice-cold beer or a glass of wine with your cigar. Jerry's is a great place to watch sports on our big flat-screen TVs and offers a comfortable setting for lively conversation. Visit our original store on Scherer Road or our new second location on Cary Forest Parkway. We hope to see you soon.
This is the Jeff Cameron Show. Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Man, Oklahoma's had a run of quarterbacks. Are we going to have one?
Just saying to Director Matthew, this has been like the most negative 4 or 5 months in a long time.
I think that I think it's going to be a little bit better than people feel like it's going to be right now, but I don't really have overwhelming evidence for that other than his track record. You know, the track record is one of success. And I think that when you're looking for data points, right, and you're trying to find things that you're basing a conclusion on, you're much better off doing it when you have more of those than less. And his track record is a good one. Taking over nightmarish situations, starting slow in each of them, and then getting it turned around.
Yeah, I'm sure there's quite a few USF fans or Western Kentucky fans who could say, I was unsure, but it ended up being okay. Hang in there, kids. Hang in there, Tallahassee.
You'd ask yourself, and he probably does too, why do I always start so damn slow? But a lot of times it's because you're starting off with not much to work with.
He thought he had something this time.
He did.
I don't think he was being fake just to get some checks cut for him.
Yeah, he did. He thought he had something going, but at the same time, you know what? I think anybody would have probably mistakenly thought they had more when they got here on that offensive line. You could have said they're average, they're not very good, but then you had kids quit, transfer, get hurt, things you could have never projected. And once that happened, and we all knew that was the area where if you weren't healthy, let alone that other stuff, you wouldn't win a lot of football games. You would seriously digress. You would take a huge step backwards, and he couldn't have known that. Now, once it happened, I think the regret is that he didn't, at some point, alter the vision publicly. Well, now we've had some problems up front. It's going to be hard. Well, we're working hard, and everybody's putting in the time, but we're asking guys to do some things they haven't had to do before. We've got, I don't know how you would have wanted to phrase it, but you would have tempered the enthusiasm.
How much do you think that would have helped? Because I think it would have helped a lot if you get out in front of...
change the psyche, the mindset.
Yes,
yeah. I think getting out in front of some of the hard times to come would have been a good idea. I cite it all the time. That's exactly what he did at Nebraska. Not Willie, but I mean, that's the idea. Scott Frost. The idea of getting out there and saying, look, guys, it's going to get worse before it gets better. We got real problems here. And I'm tasked with the long-term success of this program, a program I love and absolutely plan on succeeding in. But here's what I'm going to have to do that. This is unpleasant. Get ready. This is not going to be a lot of fun because then you steal your resolve, you buck up, all right.
Then you search for the positives in the performance rather than lamenting the overwhelming negatives that are before you. Yes.
That was a bigger mistake. When the injuries and problems happened, I think I would have taken a right turn. Well, I thought that we were in a real good place knowing that we would have to stay healthy up front, but we've had some guys get hurt, and that includes our best offensive linemen, and these other guys are working they're working hard. They're putting in the effort, no doubt about it. And but we had another kid decide he didn't want to play football anymore. The other one got kicked off the team. He was a starter at tackle for us a year ago. Of course, that was all before I got here. It's tough to overcome those kinds of things, but we'll see what we can do, and hopefully get some of these guys back. Saying something like that.
Clearly, they didn't teach the read option around here at any point. I thought that was kind of a base thing in all offenses. But clearly, I mean, this is not a literate place when it comes to reading the option.
That's funny. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Hellcats and a couple of tornadoes. So no matter what you're selling, CarMax is buying. And we'll buy your car even if you don't buy ours. CarMax. We buy all the cars.
We're completing our descent and will arrive in TLH shortly.
Oh, I'm so happy to be home.
Once we land, you can take off again with savings from the City of Tallahassee.
What do you mean?
The City of Tallahassee offers rebates for up to $300 in savings when you purchase energy-efficient appliances.
Wow, that would be a huge help.
The city also offers free energy audits.
What's an energy audit?
It's when an energy auditor comes to your home at the time that's convenient for you, examines your structure, and checks your energy and water systems. Then, they recommend changes that could save you energy, water, and money. The city also offers free ceiling insulation grants for qualifying customers.
Man, the city sure offers a lot of ways to save money. Once we land, I will check out all of the products and services the city has to offer. This makes me proud to call Tallahassee home.
Thank you for flying with us today. Don't forget that you can take off with savings with the City of Tallahassee. From rebates for Energy Star appliances to insulation grants. You can save energy, water, and money. Visit talgov.com for more information.
Yo, where the hell are you? Dude, I'm here, sitting at the bar. Where are you? The hell you are? I've been here for 30 minutes. Erroneous. BS. I've been sitting at this bar for 3 hours drinking pecan whiskey.
We said Pensacola, dude.
Why would we meet there? We're old men, and that's for the kids. Hashtag Northsiders.
Did you just hashtag me?
Hashtag hell yes.
See you in 30. Get the mahi and a beer. Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
Hi, Chris Kraft for Kraft Nissan. Tallahassee, thank you for another great year. Tallahassee truly is a Nissan town. Because of that, Nissan has come out swinging 2019 with January savings like we've never seen before. With up to $5,000 off of 2019 Maximas, Muranos, and Pathfinders. Up to $10,000 off of 2019 Armadas and Titans. You want to save even more? We have a few remaining of most 2018 models that will save you up to an additional $2,500. But wait, it gets better. With our Nissan Zero and Savings event, Kraft Nissan has 0% interest on 14 models, plus 0 down and 0 payments until after April tax day. And our hottest models, the all-new 2019 Altima and the 2019 Rogue, starting at just $21,900. And the all-new Nissan Kick starts at only $18,800 with available 1.9 interest for 60 months. And remember, if you don't see the Kraft tag on your car, you paid too much. Way too much. Kraft Nissan on Mahan Drive between Academy Sports and Costco. Prices include dealer preparation charge, interest rates with approved credit.
There ain't no heating and air conditioning, keeping you comfortable is what Barry does best.
You can now quickly and easily schedule an appointment, purchase or renew your service agreement, or pay your bill from your mobile device. This winter, take advantage of great rebates and 0% financing for 36 months. Learn more online at baranoac.com. Florida license number CAC 057652.
There ain't no heating and air conditioning.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Christine Lisi. Breaking news, Jalen Hurts has made his decision. The Alabama quarterback on the Players Tribune said he's committed to play his senior season at Oklahoma. As a graduate transfer, Hurts is eligible to play immediately. Hurts was replaced as Bama's starter by Tua Tagovailoa. ESPN's Buster Olney reporting the White Sox have made free agent shortstop Manny Machado a 7-year, $175 million offer. Sources say the White Sox hope a 7-year deal will withstand the test of free agency. Machado remains in talks with the Phillies. Phils are also negotiating with outfielder Bryce Harper. One of the big matchups on this Wednesday night in the NBA, the league and Eastern Conference leading Raptors visiting the Celtics, 7:30 Eastern, ESPN Radio, 8 Eastern, ESPN TV, and the ESPN app. Toronto's won 5 in a row. Boston's dropped 3 straight and is 5th in the East. The agent for Lakers star LeBron James told ESPN's Dave McMenamin he'll be out at least 2 more games with that strained groin. LA's not shown much in LeBron's absence, going 4-7 and falling from 4th to 8 in the West, notes ESPN's Brian Windhorst.
They've got talent, Lonzo Ball especially. He really has a good feel for the game. Brandon Ingram is he can do some special things in the half court, but what you have right now is the Lakers team of last year minus Julius Randle and Brook Lopez, and that wasn't a playoff team. And this team without LeBron James is not a playoff team.
Ryan Windhorst, a Michigan State University trustee, says the board will seek to oust interim school president John Engler if he doesn't resign, amid criticism of his handling of the fallout around disgraced ex-sports medicine doctor Larry Nassar. Engler recently suggested some of the survivors of Nassar's abuse were enjoying the spotlight. Golf, Tiger Woods will make his 2019 debut at next week's Farmers Insurance Open at Torrey Pines. Tiger's won 8 times in his career at that course.
Broadcasting live from the Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee. This is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Cornerstone Tool and Fastener on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Real quick, don't forget the 4-pack special continues for my friends at MyPillow, mypillow.com, the website. If you order now, use the promo code 979 ESPN. And in doing so, you'll get that 4-pack special, which includes 2 MyPillows, 2 Go Anywhere pillows. Those are travel pillows, if you will. You get that. It's free shipping. The extended money-back guarantee now goes all the way through March. It's their best offer, free shipping, and that 4-pack special exists. Go online right now. Click that 4-pack special. Just remember to use the promo code 979ESPN. It's my promo code 979ESPN to get the 4-pack special from MyPillow, mypillow.com. Last night, 3 ACC games, including a top 10 matchup between Virginia and Virginia Tech at the JPJ. Did you watch it?
No, not a minute. In fact, I think it was webcast only in Tallahassee.
I couldn't find it either. I was about to ask you where you found it because I flipped around and I ended up actually hopping in the car to run an errand and listen to our broadcast of the game, sir.
How did it sound?
Sounded perfect. Sounded
All
good.
right.
Sounded like it was top-notch. I enjoyed it.
I was holding 2 wires in place for the entirety of the game just to make sure.
That's what you do between you and the hamster. We're getting it done. They win 81-59, beat Virginia Tech's ass. They're 4-0 now. And here's the thing I'll say about Virginia. They're awfully difficult to beat at home. They're not probably going to lose a game at home. They play so well there. It's a lot of fun. Now they go on the road and take on Duke at Cameron this Saturday, and that is a game worth your time. That is the first college game day of the season. That will be there at ESPN to fuel the hype, if you will.
You know, it's funny because you don't cry for them.
No.
Because Duke has incredible amounts of assets. But, you know, Trey Jones being hurt for a long period of time, you know, it could be at Cameron, it could be at Virginia. It doesn't matter. You feel like Virginia would be the prohibitive favorite if they play this thing on the moon because of what Trey Jones gives them defensively and what he does to facilitate the offense.
Trey Jones is an NBA point guard who looks so silky smooth and in control at all times. When he went down due to injury in the Syracuse game, I thought if that's prolonged, they're in trouble relative to their chances to win a title. But he is, yes, you're right. You can't understate, you can't overstate how great he is. He's a fun player to watch. I like watching good basketball players, heady basketball players do the right thing for their position, and he does that.
The official word for him was AC joint. He hurt his AC joint. Remember that back in the day?
Oh,
EJ Manuel, Oklahoma, 2011.
It's been 20 years since an ACC team ran the table in conference play. Duke finished 16-0 back then. Behind the players to be named are?
In front of? Oh, the guys on the team?
Yep.
I don't know.
Elton Brand, Shane Battier, Trajan Langdon, all those guys. Remember those names?
I do remember those names, sure.
Yeah,
Shane Battier was a good player at the next level.
Yeah, they were. Yeah, Elton Brand was a real good player.
Elton Brand was good for a little while.
Well, he got stuck in places that nobody watched.
He got big, too.
He was a good player, though. He was a real good player. Yeah, man. That was a 9-team ACC. It was fairly weak. Only Duke, Maryland, and UNC made it to the NCAA tournament that year. Last night's surprise was NC State going on the road and getting demolished by Wake Forest. The league's the league, man. Happens all the time. That was a 71-67 win. At one point, Wake Forest was up by 22 points over 17th-ranked NC State. And this is why you do the thing, right, where you look at our schedule and you go, ooh, don't like 1 and 3. Now, we ought to be able to do this, this, and this. But the league reveals on a regular basis that you just cannot assume certain things.
Elton Brand played a long, long time.
Oh, he was in the league forever.
Yeah,
the Clippers and
He played until he was 36 years old, and he averaged 20 points in all but one of his first, looks like, 8 seasons. So there you go.
Elton was good, yeah. He just played for people that nobody cared about. Last night also featured North Carolina coming back to beat Notre Dame 75-69. So here's where we sit. Florida State, if you're wondering and you're just going by RPI, Tom, did you realize this? We have the number 21 RPI in the country.
RPI?
Mm-hmm.
So they're still keeping that. Somebody's keeping like a pseudo RPI, like Boyd's World or something?
Yep. We're 21.
Well, our ACC schedule to this point, yeah.
We're 34th in net. It's adjusting.
Yeah. That feels about right.
Yeah, it's adjusting. Florida State is, it's crazy, but Boston College, Clemson, Wake Forest, Miami, Notre Dame, Florida State, that's a big chunk of the ACC, all under 500. 1-3, 1-3, 1-3, 1-3, 1-3, 0-3, 0-3. And then throw in Pittsburgh, NC State as even 2-2 in conference. That leaves, just 7 teams in the ACC above 500. It's a brutal deal. It's not surprising to see Virginia undefeated. Virginia Tech 3-1 is a bit of an eye raiser. Duke is 3-1. North Carolina 3-1. Syracuse 3-1. Very impressive so far as Syracuse with the 48th RPI, 49th net. RPI and net are getting closer and closer.
That seems to be how it always goes with Syracuse, though, is they have some big wins in the ACC, but their RPI, for whatever reason, I guess Boeheim just doesn't schedule difficult in the preseason.
It's just
I don't
not
know.
there. Yeah, he usually doesn't.
I mean, think about it. When they're on the bubble, it's always like, well, their RPI 80. How'd they get in? But then they go to the Sweet 16. You're like, well, this is what Syracuse does.
Actually, it's fun kind of to compare this, Tom, and let's do this. So, Virginia, we know, is very, very good. They're 16-0, and they've won 16 straight, and they're 2-0 on the road, 2-0 at home, 4-0 in the ACC. They're the number 1 school in net, the new rankings that everybody had a problem with. Mm-hmm. They're number 5 in the RPI. Virginia Tech has been a real surprise at 14-2. They're 29th in the RPI, but 9 in net. Interestingly enough, Duke is number 4 in the RPI, number 4 in the net. Exactly where they would be for both.
Okay.
The greatest discrepancies, and there aren't too many. Georgia Tech is 143rd in the RPI, 70th in net. That's a drastic difference.
That's got to get closer and closed by the end of the year, right?
NC State, Tom, at 2-2 in the ACC, 14-3 overall. They just lost that game to Wake. 130th in the RPI. 130th in the RPI.
With a win over Auburn, too.
30th in the net.
Huh. Well, we'll have to wait.
100 spots. What are we doing here?
So what you're saying is, and this is what Gary Parrish said last week when he was a guest on the show, that the top teams, things are kind of closing in and they're pretty neat. But once you get to bubble land,
it gets
what's
weird.
the bubble going to look like?
Well, okay, I'll give you another example. Like, how could it be that NC State would be 130th in the RPI and 30th in the net? A full 100 spots different. And yet, as we travel further down the ACC road here to Wake Forest, who's just bad. I mean, they're 8-8 overall. They're 1-3 in the ACC. They're 1-1 at home. So you're looking at home and road losses and all that. Well, they're 177th in the RPI. 500 team seems about right. They're 177th in the net. So why does the net find that to be absolutely on target with the RPI there, but 100 spots off over here?
I did not spend the money or the time for that advanced degree to tell you.
You don't care enough either to do it, but I mean, and I don't either.
That's probably true.
But Clemson's 56-59. If you look at North Carolina, 19-13. Syracuse, 48-49. Louisville, 24-19. I'm giving you RPI followed by net. Only Georgia Tech and NC State in the middle of the conference have a disparate ranking to the extent that you would go, well, that's bizarre. 130-30? 143-70? But, I mean, even Florida State is 21-34. Okay.
And it feels like we're in that area, like, others receiving votes are 20-25. We're starting to leak a little bit of oil, but a win on Sunday would help.
I'll go a long way. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Gaming store in town has Tallahassee's largest selection of new and used video games and game systems. The future of video gaming is at Games for Less, where they have both the PS4 and Xbox One. It's time to trade in your old systems and elevate your gaming experience now. Games for Less is also your headquarters for the best in retro gaming. Atari 2600, original Nintendo, Super NES, or Sega Genesis, you name it. They got it at Games for Less. Games for Less, the Super Walmart Shopping Center on Appalachia Parkway. Give them a call today at 850-219-3535. That's Games for Less.
Tallahassee loves the corner pocket as much as a crystal ball winning catch.
He's looking, he lost it to the end zone. It's Benjamin! Touchdown! With 13 seconds left.
The 97.9 ESPN radio special is a must-have every Monday and Wednesday at the corner pocket. 10 mouth-watering wings, a fresh side of fries, and a chilled domestic pint of beer are just $9.79 all day long. Be sure and try the fish blend of sauces, a true wing eater's favorite. The Corner Pocket Bar and Grill.
He's gone!
Home of Trivia Tuesday, Beer Bingo Thursday, and the daily $7.99 lunch special.
The kitchen calendar may say 2019, but if your kitchen's more like 1992, come into the Home Depot for up to 30% off appliance special buys, like a 4-piece stainless steel Samsung kitchen suite, now just $2,978. More than $2,000 off a Samsung fridge, gas range, microwave, and dishwasher. Better mark it on your new calendar. Up to 30% off select appliances, now at the Home Depot. More saving, more doing. U.S. only while supplies last. See store for details. Electric range available at extra cost. Valid through January 23rd.
Want better gas mileage and a longer-lasting engine? Change your oil every 3 months or 3,000 miles, whichever comes first. You know that sticker on your windshield? Don't look at it now. Wait until the next red light. Okay, check the number on your sticker. Then check your odometer. Is it time? There are 19 Tallahassee area Super Lube locations, which means there's one close to you right now. No appointments, and you're in and out in no time. You can do this today. Super Lube, for better gas mileage and a longer-lasting engine.
How I love to Super Lube my car. Yes, sir.
The Jeff Cameron Show is brought to you by Cornerstone Tool and Fastener. Big store pricing with local service. Online at ctf.nu.
Stop now, go. I think it'd be fun to play the character that Bill Belichick plays before the media. And it is a character. It's a ramped up or exaggerated version of who he can be as a stoic, but it is no doubt a character, and he's gotten better at it over the years. He was asked about the frigid temperatures, Tom, that you and I discussed earlier for the AFC Championship game, where it's just a pocket of freeze your ass off over Kansas City there at Arrowhead. 15 degrees?
Yeah, 15 for the high that day, and they don't kick off until, closer to 6 local time.
They're calling it an Arctic freeze. This is going to be historically bad weather for the game.
Wow.
They're talking about rain, which turns to sleet, then to snow, back to rain, more sleet, Arctic freeze. That doesn't sound like a fun game to go to. I pride myself on being willing to go one time to these sporting events where inclement weather may, in fact, confront you, as we did with Notre Dame. And like I said, I've been to a couple games at Soldier Field with sub-25-degree temperatures.
You know, that wasn't all that bad once you got into the stadium. It was worse tailgating than it was being in the stadium.
Yeah, and worse is relative, right? We were fine tailgating. We had a good time. It was cold.
But if you stepped outside the tents, you're like, ooh, jeez.
Yeah, it slapped you in the face.
This is something. But once you got it, the stadium contained the warmth pretty well. I think it was better off than the 18, 20 degrees the outside temperature was when you're actually in the stands.
I rather enjoyed it. I just wouldn't want to do it day to day. Like for a game, it's fun. Because you bundle up, you put your gear on, you're with friends, you're having a good time, you're drinking a cold beer or a warm toddy or whatever you're having. You're eating, you're talking about the games and experiences that you and your friends have had together. It's all fun. You don't really even hardly notice it. Now, if I had to get up on Monday and then on Tuesday and Wednesday and go about my week and go to the store and go to work and drive and that stuff, and every time I got out of the car, I thought, God, I haven't seen the sun in weeks. This is ridiculous. It would weigh on me. It would start to piss me off. But a one-time, hey, I'm out here having a good time, wouldn't bother me in the slightest. And it didn't bother me. But this is not, I don't think so, man. If I'm tailgating at Arrowhead and it's 12 with Arctic freeze and sleet, what are we doing here? I picture tailgating a little bit to, hey, I'm going to watch my buddy's got the TV set up here. We got the grill going.
Tailgating here is you sweat your butt off until like the last home game of the year. That's what we do.
That's true. It's a lot of clothes to take on and off. A lot of stuff.
Well, and it's also, how about the night driving on the way home? You got a bunch of drunk idiots driving on, and the
freezing
surface.
Yeah.
That's just not good, man.
Well, Belichick was asked about all this weather. He thought, and he'd answer the question, and it did make me laugh because as they talked about single digits, his thoughts on playing in frigid temperatures was the question. And he said, well, I love to play in the AFC Championship game. We'll be there. I love it. In truth, there is a psychology to that, right? He is not going to allow the weather to be a story. He's clearly not going to allow excuses to creep into the mind of his players. And that is calculated. If you've read about him, you know that is very calculated. He is not going to entertain the idea of anything other than their play. X's and O's, execution of plays. Do your job.
No.
He's not. None of that other stuff can be allowed to creep into the lexicon of its players or the thoughts. But that's a great answer. We love to play in the AFC Championship game. We'll be there. Yes, that is it.
It occurs to me that he's about as colorful at the dais as a former officer of perhaps a company we've worked for, maybe currently do work for, in the past when you're trying to have a conversation. It's kind of like having a conversation with Bill Belichick when he speaks before the media. You're like, well, okay, so we're just going to enjoy this silence until it has to be over.
We're just going to look and nod. It's the Kermit the Frog, Christian Bale.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Belichick brushed off any questions about the possibility of the weather altering his play calling or approach. Quote, I don't know. It's Wednesday. We'll see what happens on Sunday. I love it. I don't know. It's Wednesday. See what happens on Sunday. Next question. On to the Chiefs. It's great. In a weird way, it's great. You wouldn't like him if he changed. If he just all of a sudden became this gregarious, affable fellow that is yucking it up with the press.
Well, you'd be worried. You're like, well, they're going to get killed.
Well, you'd think he's going to kill himself. If he went that 180 character, you're like, he's just throwing in the towel. He did talk earlier in the week, and they were asked about whether or not, with the weather conditions being as bad as they would you practice outside all of this week in New England? Would you make sure to embrace the cold weather that's here in the New England area, of course? And he said, we definitely do that. In some cases, we can always practice that way. Sometimes we can't. If we're able to utilize a practice tool prior to the game because of the way that the circumstances fall, well, then that's great. We do. If we're not, then we prepare mentally. We talk about how we want to do certain things or whatever the issues would be. That's a Walt Bell special.
It sounds like Saban, too, in terms of and utilize and mental reps and visualization. There you go.
I think the big thing here is in getting back to this, as we've talked about the game off and on all week, this particular one is that, the Patriots looked like a much better, different version of themselves in this last game, coming off the bye week and having the extra time, and they put it to great use, and he is an awesome coach, and it's a Hall of Fame quarterback, and so now all of a sudden we're all confronting this idea that they are this other thing, and they will be back in that damn Super Bowl again, where we're tired of seeing their faces. But the truth is, and this is why I find it fascinating, the Patriots were not good on the road this year at any point. They were 3-5 on the road, a losing record. It was their worst record since 2009. We're going back 10 years to find them looking this bad. That year they went 2-6 on the road. They looked extremely mortal on the road. They didn't look like the team we saw the other night.
The problem is that Sony Michel and the element he adds to that offense kind of fits the weather for this game. They have a physical element, and that guy can also break one. Like we were talking about earlier in the week, it's the LeGarrette Blount, but then you can have your cake and eat it too because he can break one for 60 at a moment's notice.
Yeah, a lot of people that describe these freezing, I don't know what it's like to play in those conditions. When you're talking about 5 degrees, 7 degrees, some people are saying it's going to be 7 degrees. I don't know what that's like to play in. I know I've played in a couple cold weather games, and by cold weather I mean 25, 32, practicing games, and I hated it. It hurts to play football in cold weather. It hurts. But these guys are pros, and they get used to it, and certainly the Patriots play a lot of cold weather games. But I don't know if when it gets down to that level where the surface is frozen and it's 5 degrees, does that help the defense or the offense? And most of the people you talk about these games will tell you, we think it helps the offense. They know where they're going. You don't know where they're going. And while it looks real slow and deliberate, it's still a matter of you having to adjust to what they're doing.
Well, if you had to classify the Patriots offense, you wouldn't call it finesse, right?
No.
So that's kind of built to travel in the way you talk about the running game often.
Mm-hmm.
For the
travels.
Chiefs, it's, I don't know that it's fully finesse, but it's certainly more stylish than New England's offense is.
Damn, man. Yeah, can you imagine? That falls in their lap again. The situation alters itself to oblige the Patriots yet again. Final hour forthcoming, including W's and L's. Hang in.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this. It's right here, guys. We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Up to $10,000 off of 2019 Armadas and Titans. You want to save even more? We have a few remaining of most 2018 models that will save you up to an additional $2,500. But wait, it gets better. With our Nissan Zero in Savings event, Kraft Nissan has 0% interest on 14 models, plus 0 down and 0 payments until after April tax day. And our hottest models, the all-new 2019 Altima and the 2019 Rogue, starting at just $21,900. And the all-new Nissan Kick starts at only $18,800 with available 1.9 interest for 60 months. And remember, if you don't see the Kraft tag on your car, you paid too much. Way too much. Kraft Nissan on Mahan Drive between Academy Sports and Costco. Prices include dealer preparation charge, interest rates with approved credit.
Yo, where the hell are you? Dude, I'm here, sitting at the bar. Where are you? The hell you are? I've been here for 30 minutes. Erroneous. BS. I've been sitting at this bar for 3 hours drinking pecan whiskey. We said Pensacola, dude. Why would we meet there? We're old men, and that's for the kids. Hashtag Northsiders. Did you just hashtag me? Hashtag hell yes. See you in 30. Get the mahi and a beer.
Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
Driving every day from the Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat Studios. This is 97.9 ESPN Radio, WTSM, Woodville, Thomasville, Tallahassee.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Christine Lisi. Breaking news, Jalen Hurts has made his decision. The Alabama quarterback on the Players Tribune said he's committed to play his senior season at Oklahoma. As a graduate transfer, Hurts is eligible to play immediately. Hurts was replaced as Bama's starter by Tua Tagovailoa. ESPN's Buster Olney reporting the White Sox have made free agent shortstop Manny Machado a 7-year, $175 million offer. Sources say the White Sox hope a 7-year deal will withstand the test of free agency. Machado remains in talks with the Phillies. Phils are also negotiating with outfielder Bryce Harper. One of the big matchups on this Wednesday night in the NBA, the league and Eastern Conference leading Raptors visiting the Celtics, 7:30 Eastern, ESPN Radio, 8 Eastern, ESPN TV, and the ESPN app. Toronto's won 5 in a row. Boston's dropped 3 straight and is 5th in the East. The agent for Lakers star LeBron James told ESPN's Dave McMenamin he'll be out at least 2 more games with that strained groin. LA's not shown much in LeBron's absence, going 4-7 and falling from 4th to 8 in the West, notes ESPN's Brian Windhorst.
They've got talent, Lonzo Ball especially. He really has a good feel for the game. Brandon Ingram is he can do some special things in the half court, but what you have right now is the Lakers team of last year minus Julius Randle and Brook Lopez, and that wasn't a playoff team. And this team without LeBron James is not a playoff team.
Ryan Windhorst, a Michigan State University trustee, says the board will seek to oust interim school president John Engler if he doesn't resign, amid criticism of his handling of the fallout around disgraced ex-sports medicine doctor Larry Nassar. Engler recently suggested some of the survivors of Nassar's abuse were enjoying the spotlight. Golf, Tiger Woods will make his 2019 debut at next week's Farmers Insurance Open at Torrey Pines. Tiger's won 8 times in his career at that course.
Broadcasting live from the Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee. This is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Cornerstone Tool and Fastener on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Final hour of the Jeff Cameron Show, at least for today. Fun day indeed. Thanks for jumping on board with us. I'm Jeff, that's Tom. We're online, ESPNTallahassee.com. That's where you go to listen live via the streaming, free always. Don't miss anything. Sometimes you miss things. And when that happens, I say, hey, good thing we're here for you. All 3 hours get posted every day upon the conclusion of the program, both to iTunes and in our own audio vault, so don't worry about it. You can also find it on the WTSM app to get caught up if need be. Email the show if you want. It's jcs@979espnradio.com. Fire away with that. It's also fodder. That's always appreciated. On Twitter, it's at @JCameron Show. It's also at 979 ESPN Radio if you want to Periscope. Hello, YouTubers. Hope you're well. I can't give up this sweatshirt, Tom. The YouTubers can see it. Look how worn this is. It's just the gold now. The white.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah. It's the only thing that lasted was just the gold.
Huh.
Yeah. It really is.
You've had that for a minute, though. So.
Oh, I love this thing. I wear this more than any other gear that I have from Florida State, other than maybe like a hat. No, probably this.
Well, that's why I need to get a Bucks one because for Christmas a couple of years ago, I got a Vikings one.
You got to get you a good
Team
Bucks
B,
one.
But it's that same kind of material.
It's just so comfortable.
Yeah,
it's just you just want to sleep in it. Mm-hmm. It's a comfortable thing.
Sometimes I do.
Sometimes I do. Sometimes I don't. The schedule. Hey. You know we love a little way too early W's and L's. So it's that time. We did it earlier today. We do it twice when that first schedule comes out. First of all, if you're just jumping in the car and you're going, whoa, what the hell's going on? The schedule is out and about. And I will tell you that you really, to me, any other year, how about this? Every game is daunting when you suck. Every game on the schedule looks like it might be tough if you're not any good. For example, I imagine that if you root for Wake, scheduled day is the same every year. Well, it sure does look like a lot of teams on that schedule, they're going to kick our ass. Heard all about Winston-Salem. I've got to imagine that's a fairly common occurrence.
As they make their way to a bowl and win the bowl game.
Right, but I'm just saying that's what they look at when that schedule comes out. They go, well, all those teams are capable of beating us. Sadly, these days we can relate. That schedule comes out and you go, what a stretch there with that Virginia-Louisville matchup back-to-back. Because that's the way you view the world when you're not any good. Hopefully that changes after this year. Hopefully that's a temporary glimpse into what it's like to root for Wake or many of the other schools in the ACC, say Duke or whoever else you want to name. But today I found a lot of my fellow Noles looking at this schedule thinking, well, I guess that's a pretty good schedule. I mean, the games are placed on Saturdays. There are no road Thursday night games, and doesn't look like the order is such that it's too taxing. We do have the bye week after NC State and before Clemson. Got another bye week before we play Florida. Folks, I'm here to tell you, any year where we're any good at all, this is a dream schedule. We're talking about 11-1. Any year where you're any good at all, you're like 11-1, 10-2. Ball bounces the right way. We get that road win against Clemson. We're 12-0. I mean, we're talking about it that way when we're operating at max efficiency, right? That's when we're doing what we're supposed to be doing. This schedule, thank you, schedule makers. Thank you, home office. Thank you, ACC headquarters. You bastards finally got it right. This is the kind of schedule I would think they would gift Clemson or somebody else of the stature that waves the flag for the ACC.
This is the pity itinerary. That's this year's schedule. It's we can't have you falling apart.
These bastards get it together. They're a mess.
We've seen what happens when Miami falls. They just stay down. So we need to help Florida State get right back up. Let's go.
Yeah, I think that's what this schedule looks like to me. I saw it and went, all right, feeling good. That looks good to me. Can't navigate that schedule. There aren't too many you can. I mean, we're not leaving the ACC, so the teams are the teams. I don't know that I'd put it in a different order. I personally wanted to see Virginia. I would have moved, say, the Wake game to week 3 on the 14th and moved Virginia to the 19th of October, where the weather is absolutely beautiful and the binding beauty of Charlottesville, Virginia could have been visited upon by you and me in sweater weather.
Oh, it's the outdoor version of the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill ESPN Tallahassee Executive Suite.
Vista.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. I would have moved the at Boston College on the 9th of November and put it where it is on the 14th of September for Virginia. Switch those two. Taking it on up to Charlottesville in early November would have been something. So I'm slightly disappointed by that. But, I mean, we're nitpicking here. This is all right, all right. I feel good about it. Now, many of you have heard a rumor that James Blackman has entered his name. Don't worry. We're going to do W's and L's. Just hang in there. Into the portal. Have we officially confirmed his name's in the portal? I know earlier today Ira said the rumor's out there, but his name is not in the portal. It's going to be in the portal, but it's not in the portal.
I believe the officials, the first story I read was 24/7
I've read
saying,
2. That's why I'm asking.
24/7 saying it's going to take a couple of days to process.
Yeah, he's going to be in the portal.
But the intent is to be in the portal, yes.
Sure. I'm operating under the assumption that he's going to put his name in the portal.
Yeah, it's happening.
Yeah. And so here's what I'll tell you. So folks hear that, and I think immediately get very, very concerned, and I understand that concern. But I think the more interesting conversation to have here is about what does it mean? What's he trying to do? What does he want out of that? What does James Blackman want by putting his name in the portal? What you're seeing now is a new reality for programs across the country, for fans of those programs, for coaches of those programs, that a lot of kids, because it's not binding, a lot of kids are going to put their name in the portal. It's in their best interest, and we're not accustomed to seeing kids doing what's in their best interest without there being backlash or some sort of form of punishment or strict legislation on whether you can or can't. These kids are free to do it now in a way they've never been. They're free to come and go as they want. They're free to gauge interest. They're free to find out what coaches, programs, universities might be interested in their services. They're free to have conversations in a way they never could before. And they're free to leave in a way they never could before. And getting used to that new reality, I think, is difficult. I think it's hard on us. We see a name. Oh, you don't like it here? Like, you get offended. In some cases, not all. Others, you go, I don't like the message that sends. This guy's supposed to be a team leader. He's checking out the portal. What's that tell the locker room? What does that mean about his situation? What do other kids think about him testing the waters? And I don't know the right answer. I think we're all going through it together, but it's non-binding. And so what I would suggest is this is an opportunity for players, and I don't know this is what he's doing. This is speculative on my part. But I'm a James Blackman fan, first of all. And I think that if I were him, I'd damn sure want to be guaranteed to some degree that I'm getting first-team reps in the spring. In light of the news that DeAndre Francois is still on campus, still taking classes and producing Instagram posts by the dozens, So as he tells the world about all of his intentions and what he wants to do and how he views that situation at Florida State, I'd want some assurances that didn't involve DeAndre Francois, but rather this coaching staff, that whether that kid's here or not, I get every opportunity to win this job. I'm getting equal reps with the ones, guaranteed. Where do I stand? You going to have DeAndre Francois back on this team in the fall? Is he coming in as the number one? Am I the number one? What kind of battle am I looking at here?
That's where it gets me a little bit fired up, because you just can't go to an office and have that conversation. You know, you have to go to the portal. What does that say about the level of communication that I have to go to the portal in order for you to show me your cards?
Well, it's a put up or shut up deal. I think kids are tired of hearing grown-ups tell them one thing and then do another. I don't think they trust coaches who come and go all around the country as they please, first chance to get.
Well, clearly that applies here, though.
Well, I think what applies here is you have a new coach coming in. You have Kendall Briles coming in. And I don't know that Willie's going to speak for Kendall on that note, but I do think this. I think, first of all, I still don't believe DeAndre Francois is going to be here in the fall. I still don't think he's part of the larger quarterback discussion. Now, how Willie Taggart handles this situation, you couldn't kick him out of school, nor should you. He's a couple classes away from graduating. He wants to be a grad transfer. He didn't finish school. He's got, 4 hours to go. So what are you going to do? He's going to be here. He's going to be going to class. You need him to graduate for your APR. You can't kick him out of here. It's not a wise move. Technically speaking, I think you can argue that as much as you and I think it's a bad idea and perhaps sends the wrong message, if you don't get a grad transfer, and Jalen Hurts today decided to go to Oklahoma, where it seems like a lot of people believed he was always going to go. A, they've wanted him. I didn't know that until recently. B, his dad's in Texas. His dad's wanted him to go to Oklahoma. He can drive to the games now. That makes a lot of sense. So it doesn't look like you're getting any high-profile grad transfer. You do get Jordan Travis, who's not a grad transfer, and if he gets a waiver and is able to be eligible right away, that changes your quarterback depth chart. Certainly, he's in the battle then, and we'll see if he does.
I wonder when we hear about that. I mean, how long do those things take?
To get a waiver approved?
Well, the bureaucracy of the NCAA being what it is, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen with that. I don't think they do either. But depending on whether or not he gets a waiver approved, this directly impacts the quarterback battle and the depth chart at the very least,
yeah.
Okay? It is hard to run kids off because of that APR score. So you have to be careful. You're trying to entice people to leave perhaps here and there. Maybe it is in your best interest to take it on down the road, but you can't really kick them out because we were so dangerously low on that score.
I hear that, but, I think a one-sentence statement that James Blackman is going to be the leader in the clubhouse starting in spring, made available to the media, would be something that would help in this situation.
I don't know what that solves. I think maybe behind closed doors.
Locker room division, for one?
No, I don't know that does that. Having DeAndre Francois on the team at all creates the locker room division that you're seeking to avoid, which is why I think Willie Taggart should tell him under no circumstances is he going to be a quarterback on this team. But he hasn't done that. My opinion about what he should do there is to say, by all means, finish up your degree, and I support you, and I hope you get your diploma, and I'll have nice things to say about you to whoever is interested in you transferring there. But he can't do that until after the spring because he has to finish school. So we're stuck here. There's nothing you can do. Can't be a grad transfer if you're not graduated. But I don't know what's going on. Maybe James Blackman wants that assurance. But what does James want in the sense that can you guarantee, would you go to James Blackman and say, you're our starter? I don't know that Kendall Briles wants to do that. He wants the competition. We are recruiting a high school kid. He's going to come in. You got Jordan Travis coming in. I don't know what the rest of the depth chart's going to be like. We may still get a grad transfer, I suppose. I don't know. But I'm not in the business of guaranteeing people the starting job without a competition, especially with a new offensive coordinator.
Yeah, I can understand that part of it, and this is where it also hurts that Kendall Briles is brand new and he's got the keys to the offense. So is this his call and not Willie's? Probably, right?
I would think.
If it's your offense, right?
I would absolutely
then
think
you get to choose who your quarterback is?
Of course. Of course.
Would be nice to have a press conference anytime with Kendall.
No, they're not going to do that, and I don't expect them to, and I'm not sure I would either for PR purposes. This is part of the risk of that hire. It doesn't do us much good in the media. We would like that. We want questions answered. We want all those things. But I think if I'm looking at it from their standpoint, I'm not doing that.
But now you're getting into the components of your offense and exactly what you're looking for in a quarterback. Just the hard part is this one plays on the heartstrings today. That's what this one does. Like this is the same day that George Campbell and Pops Upshur are in the transfer portal. Nobody cares about that in the way they do about James Blackman, because this guy this past year was somebody who was on the bench, Boston College game. People are shouting for James Blackman to play because DeAndre started slow in that game. James walks over to the fans behind the bench and says, hey, man, you guys got to calm down here.
No, he's awesome. He's a great kid. He's a loyal kid. He's a leader. He's what we want DeAndre Francois to be.
He's what the program is supposed to be about, too. If you believe he and Francois are on the same plane in terms of overall talent, maybe one's better at, part X of his game, and another one's better at part Y. If it's about the same, then why don't you go with the guy that people rally behind?
But I don't know. Yes, I agree with you, Tom, but what can he do right now? There's no quarterback battle taking place right now. They're not practicing. Nothing's going on right now. You're not going to send out a press release that screw DeAndre Francois and James Blackman's our guy. Not when you have a new offensive coordinator who wants to assess the whole situation, and not when you don't know about your depth chart. Because here's the thing, if Jordan Travis doesn't get that waiver, you may need DeAndre Francois to be here because you got no depth. What if James goes out there and tears his ACL?
Right, so you've got year 2 of a disaster of a situation at quarterback.
No question, but I don't know what you're able to do otherwise. I mean, I'm saying, what's the solution? I'm with you. I don't like DeAndre Francois in terms of what he brings to the locker room and some of the selfishness we've seen revealed in his time here. I don't know him personally, but from afar, I don't like what he's brought to the table at the most important position on the field. I don't like the way he handles his business. But that's fine. We're in agreement. They're kind of stuck. They're in a tough situation here. First of all, for example, somebody emailed me today. Well, we whiffed on Jalen Hurts. Man, we weren't going to get Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts' offensive coordinator is the head coach at Maryland. They had a better shot of getting him. The other guy went to Miami. They had a better shot of getting him. And his dad wanted him to go to Oklahoma. And that situation, how are we comparing to Oklahoma? It's Heisman Trophy, and come on down, Jalen Hurts. Or get behind Florida State's offensive line and run for your life. We weren't going to get him. It's not a great option. So I don't feel like they swung and missed. They went after him. They did what they could, but there was always an uphill battle. Yeah. They weren't going to get him. We are in a tough situation that is now several years running. It culminated with missing a bowl last year and missteps in the season that have us all ratcheted up in terms of our focus and frustration. But I don't know what they can do right now. And sitting still and feeling like you're in limbo creates this feeling of anxiousness and angst.
Well, I'm not saying that you want to kowtow to a kid who puts his name in the transfer portal if we're going to remove the personal element of, the fact that we like James Blackman. So, you don't want to poo-poo some kids, and then if another kid puts his name in the transfer portal, you run to him and you make a statement publicly, because then you're setting a bad precedent moving forward. So I get that.
Also,
but in this case, saying James is going to start off as our one in spring ball, doesn't tie you anything for the fall, and it gives him a bit of a vote of confidence, because in the fall,
I can just do that behind the scenes. I don't have to do that publicly.
Well, he doesn't. Clearly, there's a lack of communication here, because he's going and making this thing happen.
Well,
and
but I think kids
clearly there's a leak that it's coming out that he's putting his name in the transfer portal. Somebody wants media organizations to know that from James Blackman's camp. Yeah, where else would it come from? Willie's not calling somebody behind the scenes and saying, hey, James Blackman's name's in the portal. That doesn't help him at all.
No, but that's the dawn of the new world we're talking about. Kids can now do this. They have more power than they've ever had before. We're not used to seeing that. Kids are going to do this from here on out, and it's going to grow exponentially. You watch. I mean, this is now an authority a kid never had before, and you can send messages to your staff. You can send messages to teammates. You can send messages to assistant coaches. You can tell people. I mean, you can make it very public or very private. One thing I didn't know, and I found this out today, you can put your name in the portal, and the degree to which people can contact you is up to you. So you can put your name in the portal in which you say, I'm out there, but I don't wish to be contacted. I'm out there. I don't want to be personally called by the head coach or anything like that. I just want, my name's out there. And inquiries, consent, and those kinds of things that you're interested in.
Well, it's like write, don't call, or email, don't call,
that kind
or
of
something
thing.
like that.
That's correct. That kind of thing. You can say yes in regards to contact or no.
Huh.
So the kids have control to what degree they're sought after, spoken to, communicated with.
Yeah, so they want their phone blowing up like they were 17 again.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you can say, look, if you want to, if you're interested, if you think there's a place for me at your university, contact the athletic department, let me know. They'll tell me, and then I can reach out to you. You don't reach out to me. So other than to say you're interested, I decide who I'm going to call. Is that a good situation for me? I don't need you calling me every hour of the day.
Right.
That's smart, by the way. And so that's why it's a smart move for a lot of kids, whether you want to leave or not. They're going to start doing it. Oh, what's out there? Who knows? I'll do this because I'm not real sure where I stand here. I like it here. I'm not trying to offend anybody, but, I got to look out for number one. And what if Ohio State calls? What if my hometown team calls? What if, and all of a sudden they say, our depth chart's perfect for you, and oh, by the way, we can assure you, you will start as the one day you step foot on campus. I'm guaranteeing it. I always tell people, no matter what kind of job you have, whether you love your job or not, but especially if you love your job, you still owe it to yourself and your family and those closest to you to listen to all offers. I'm happy at ESPN Radio, not planning on going anywhere. Any radio station calls, I shouldn't say any radio station, but if another reasonable radio station called me from some place that I've never thought about living before, Dubuque, and says, hey, we want that Cameron guy, I'm going to listen. I'm probably not going to go, but I'm going to listen to what they have to say. You should. Find out what else is out there. Kids are going to start doing it, and everything I do know about fandom is that it's always going to piss us off and concern us.
For me, I'm a little different. Like I said, the other two that came out today, I don't care. This one does because you don't have a depth chart right now of any depth. I guess.
So what do you do? You tell Francois to go to hell? What if he leaves?
I think it speaks to a situation where there's not a clear line of communication and a clear set of expectations. I think that's what makes me angry. Is like, okay, so it's not that he's not feeling the love on the recruiting trail. He doesn't know where he stands. And that's what's interesting to me is one would think, given the way the depth chart looks for this spring, and your hunch or not, notwithstanding about DeAndre Francois, you got a pretty clean look at being the quarterback at Florida State University. And that's not good enough? Why? Why is your name in the transfer portal if that's not good enough? It's got to be about something behind the scenes.
I just think that, we've heard already it's happened not just here, but at other places where kids put their name in the portal and came right back and said, no, I'm not going anywhere. I just wanted to see.
Well, there are a lot of times that in those situations the depth chart is loaded. Like, it's not here. That's the hard part is it's not loaded here, and the way we set up his redshirt process last year was stupid. So, is he looking at that and saying, I'm not playing around with these yokels. I'm at least going to listen to some other offers.
I do believe he's going to listen to some other offers, or I do believe that he is thinking about, listening to other people as well. But I don't know that I don't have the same sense of concern because I don't think I agree with you that we're in a somewhat untenable position, and that doesn't feel good, and it feels like that ought to be remedied. But I don't know that they have an answer with a new offensive coordinator coming in that you're handing the reins over to. You can't just walk in unilaterally and say, hey, this is how it's going to be. Not if you've agreed that upon hire, you're the guy.
Yeah.
You're going to get to make the decisions about this offense, not me. I'm giving that to you.
Would be interesting to know if Kendall sat down at some point with James Blackman to talk turkey.
That would be. And I would
hope that's happened by now.
Well, and I think certainly that there are a lot of things that are still out there that leave us in limbo and have us all very frustrated, which is, are we going to get these other coaches? It's my understanding that Clements is coming. It's my understanding that we're going to get Dugans.
Yeah, signing day going to pass? What are we doing?
Saying, but also, those situations with those two coaches are not a little bit unlike the situation we have with Blackman and Francois on the quarterback depth chart and all this other stuff. It's in limbo. It's in flux through factors that aren't really under our control to some extent. One of them is a money issue with the Clements situation in Houston, okay? And then the Dugans thing is not really in our control either. I think we want him. But the maneuvering of the coaching staff with the new NCAA rules, we got to obviously hire a defensive backs coach. You got to move people around, but can you? Are you allowed to? Are we breaking the spirit of the rules and all this other stuff? They got a lot of there's a lot of stuff on their plate, man. And it's just not happening nearly as fast as we'd like it to. And because this last year was a disaster, he doesn't get the benefit of the doubt. And because of that, and I understand it, I'm not begrudging people that distrust. What I'm saying is that's why everybody's so anxious. Last year was a disaster. It was built up to be great, and then it sucked. So you're like, okay, I'm not real sure he knows what he's doing. We have some other issues that aren't his fault, but there were issues that were, and now this. We got coaches. I hear we're going to get them. We still haven't got them. National Signing Day is nearly upon us. Is this going to get done? Is he going to screw this up too? Now my quarterback, the guy I want, that I'm emotionally attached to because he loves the school the same way I do and the players love him, well, he's putting his name in the transfer portal. And the other guy that I thought for sure was going to be gone that we'd rid ourselves of is talking to everybody on Instagram about how he has unfinished business. And nobody's refuting it. So I feel a lot of angst, man, about this. And I'm with you. But I can just say, hey, all we can do is wait. And not everything is as it appears. I don't believe DeAndre is here in the fall. You can't kick him out of school. He's taking classes. He can write whatever he wants on Instagram, and you can't stop him. So if he wants to tell everybody about how he loves Florida State and he's coming back and he has unfinished business, you can't do anything about that. He's free to, unless you ban social media, which they're not going to do. So he's free to be what he's always been.
Drop the ban hammer. Drop the damn ban hammer.
So he can write whatever he wants, which then facilitates this greater conversation based on what he views the situation to be, not necessarily what they view it to be. And then this creates this.
This is where, if I could just make one decision, and it's not the big ones, not even the uniforms. I'd trade the uniforms for this one decision. I know it's short-sighted. But if I could allow for myself to take over for Willie in one 10-minute period, I'd bring DeAndre in. I'd say, you spoke for me.
Don't do it again.
You spoke for me. You don't do that again. Your penance, no more posts on social media about this program or about your role within it.
Yeah, man, I know.
0 more posts. Do you know the headaches and blank storm you cause by going on Instagram talking about unfinished? You're speaking for me. Nobody speaks for me but me.
I know, man. I know. It's hard, and I don't listen. I feel some of that angst too. I'm not saying I don't. I mean, we all place various values on different aspects of all this stuff that's happening. But I also know that it's a dawn of a new day. We're getting used to the idea of players having more leverage than they've ever had before. And I think that you're a bit in flux because you've hired a new offensive coordinator who you've promised to give every opportunity to run that whole side of the football. So you really aren't going to speak on his behalf.
Just waiting for a quote tweet from DeAndre with this news, and it says, well, he understands that he was going to be the backup this year anyway.
It is the kind of thing he would post. It is the kind of sentiment he would.
If he says it in an open session with the media, surely he has the stones to put it on social media.
Hang tough, brother. We've got W's or L's. W's and L's. Wins.
With Jordan Travis as our quarterback.
Which might be all right. Might be all right. Jesus. Jimbo liked Jordan Travis. He's an athlete. He doubting Jordan Travis's ability.
He loved Coker.
He
loved Cosentino.
We run like 5 plays in this offense, man. Let's go.
He liked JJ.
He liked lots of people. But I'm saying he was a 4-star kid. He wasn't like he was dog meat, man. He's a guy that.
I love Devin. So I like him more just because of his brother. Because Devin was a tough guy.
Well, you got to give Jordan the benefit of the doubt then, right?
If he gets a waiver.
Well, that was what we don't know. That's the part. See, let's just add.
So James is gone, DeAndre leaves, and then you don't get the waiver. Now what do we do? Cam Akers?
Oh, we lose 10 games if that happens.
That would be part of, I think, the stress in people's voices.
But
today.
no, that's going to happen. Hang in there. Oh, the DeAndre part is going to happen. He won't be here. Except for as he tries to graduate now currently on campus. There's nothing you can do about that.
Libations Wednesday.
Let's do W's and L's. Did we go back and look at our way too early to predict W's and L's from a year ago?
Oh, I don't think it was.
Well, it wasn't 5-7.
Yeah, I don't think it was anything like the final record. I think we were a little buoyed.
I think I said 9-3 and you said 10-2.
It's something like that. Yeah.
It wasn't good. It was a far cry from the truth. It was not close. Well, okay, man. Some new things have come to light.
New information. Yeah, it's come to light, all right.
Cue it up. Let's do this thing.
L's.
Wins.
All right. How you doing?
Losses.
Damn it! We lost! We f***ing super lost, man!
Where do we triumph? Where doth thou fall? There was an official release today. The Florida State football team 2019 schedule was released in coordination with the ACC office. The schedule includes all Saturday games, making the first time that's happened since 2003. We've always had a non-Saturday kickoff, not this go-around. So 1 for 1, baby doll. There you go. Got it right.
So we're 1-0, even though that doesn't count as a win.
That's what you do right there. Saturday games, not Friday games, not Thursday games, no other day games. It is Saturday. We play football, college football on Saturdays.
That's a win.
That in and of itself is indeed win. The Seminoles opener, August 31st at Boise State. Oh, check that. Sorry, it's here. No, it's not. It's in Jacksonville. We love to give away home games. Screw the city and the fans and the businesses who support Florida State University. Okay. August 31st, we'll take on Boise State over in Jacksonville, where you can smell the paper mill. But hey, let's go get some wings at the Landing. Some cigarettes and home pregnancy kits. All right. That's not a win from a scheduling standpoint. That game should be here, but it's not. Florida State will be playing its season opener at a neutral site for the 4th time in the last 6 years. That's a loss. FSU is 23-6-2 all time in neutral site games. Thanks for softening the blow, I suppose. Yes, we're 16-1 since the start of the 1990 season in neutral site games to start the year. Noles are returning to Jacksonville, where they have an all-time record of 14-2-1 with 8 straight victories for the first time since defeating West Virginia in the Gator Bowl, January 1st, 2010, and the final game of the legendary head coach Bobby Bowden's Hall of Fame career. I was in attendance with my father, with the rain gear on. But it was pretty cool as the band spelled out Bobby. I remember it well. I remember that West Virginia was poorly coached and gave us the game in the second half.
That they did. And I remember thinking that there was a kid named, I think it was Robert Sands, who was a safety for West Virginia, was going to be something at the next level because he was all over the field. But, I forgot to discount the fact that they were playing us.
They were playing us.
In those days.
Turns out he wasn't going to be something.
He's a good player for West Virginia, but yeah.
Florida State's first game at Doak Campbell Stadium comes the next week against ULM, which also will be FSU Hall of Fame weekend. The Noles open ACC play on the 14th at Virginia. FSU returns home for a back-to-back Atlantic Division contest hosting Louisville and North Carolina State. As part of the university's family weekend, after an open date, the Noles travel to Clemson and Wake Forest. That's in October. Florida State hosts Syracuse in late October for homecoming. Miami on November the 2nd. Noles concludes conference play against Boston College on November the 9th. Then you got the Alabama State game. You got a bye week. Every team has 2 bye weeks this year. And so that's that. By the way, after scheduling an open day prior to the season-ending rivalry game every year from 1980 to 1992, this marks just the 3rd time since 92 without a game the week before we play the Gators. And then they want you to know season tickets are available. Now, for the much more scientific approach from Tom and myself as we go through W's and L's. You want to cue it up again? Want to hear it again? I do. Let's hear it again.
We're doubling down.
Doubling down.
L's.
Wins.
All right. How you doing?
Losses.
Damn it! We lost. We f***ing super lost, man.
Where do we triumph? Where doth thou fall? Game number 1, August 31st over in Jacksonville. Much to my chagrin, we welcome in Boise State, and I will give us a W. Florida State begins the season 1-0, sir. How do you foresee this one playing out?
We will have to wait 1 week for our first win of the season. That is a loss.
Oh!
A lot of moving parts. Here.
Man.
Yeah.
Well, there'll be 17 people in attendance for Hall of Fame weekend against ULM, if that's the case.
That will be the class that's being inducted, yes.
Damn it, man. 2-0, Noles win big on the aforementioned Hall of Fame weekend, and we're off to a rollicking start.
1-1. All right, now we're rolling.
All right. You writing this down? You're not writing this down. I got us 2-0. You're 1-1 to start the campaign.
I'll check the podcast.
At Virginia, Charlottesville, Virginia. We'll go see my nephew and give him a big hug. He's at UVA Law right now. I'm proud of him, if you can't tell. But that is a beautiful campus and a wonderful place to visit, and I shall go to that game. And hopefully you'll jump on in the all-new Infinity QX80.
Oh, is that the QX80 trip,
It's a QX80 comfort trip right there, baby. Let's sit back in luxury like I do on a daily basis, but for a long journey where we do have the Bose surround sound and the TVs and all of the things we might need. I've got 47 plugs in my QX80. I mean, you could have your PS4 plugged into that thing.
Yeah, do you feel odd about being a chauffeur in that situation?
No.
Because I would be in the entertainment row.
That's
the second row.
That's the second row. The third row or the fourth row, depending on what you want to do. But the third row does not have TVs, Tom. So you're going to have to pick the one with TVs. All right. You know, if you need to, I'll just be in my own head because, you know, you're allowed in the QX80 to listen and watch a movie on one TV while the passenger on the other side watches with their own headset and or plays a video game or whatever they want to do with their own TV. And I don't have to hear any of it because up front, I've got my Bose surround sound plugged into my music, and we all get to do our own thing.
Can we get one of those like dividers put up like that's in a limo that allows you to have just bottles of champagne and stuff?
Just get after it, right? I make us I get us up to Charlottesville.
I'll be watching the NFL. That's what I'll do.
At Virginia, September the 14th against in Charlottesville there, and that feels like a bit of a toss-up. I'm going to go with a victory there. I think Florida State's off to a rocking 3-0 start, sir.
Give me another win.
Oh!
That's right. Another win.
Buoyed by the big win over ULM.
2 in a row. The offense, they have a hiccup game to start the season, but now the offense starts to look fine with whoever the hell the quarterback's going to be. Yeah.
All right. Louisville comes to town as dysfunctional and convoluted as things may have looked last year. Florida State did go on the road and knock off Louisville. I imagine we're going to be a better team this year than that year. I think Louisville is going down, buddy. I think it's a victory for Florida State, and we are 4-0, and this train's rolling.
Ooh, buddy. I've got 3 consecutive wins. That's a winning streak.
You're with me again.
Mm-hmm.
You know the deal.
It's Dubsky. And if young Travis gets the waiver, he throws for 5 touchdowns in this game.
Oh, so he's starting instead of Blackman?
Because he's Kendall's guy.
You really do have this working, don't you? All right, so after that very shaky start, you're 3-1, we're 4-0 over here. Then it's a family weekend. NC State lost a lot. NC State doesn't have an NFL quarterback on the roster rolling into Tallahassee.
They might have Bailey Hockman rolling into Tallahassee, sir.
Doesn't he have to sit out?
I think he was working so he could get his AA this year and then be eligible to play this upcoming fall.
We'll have to see. I mean, it was not like I was ever fearful of Bailey Hockman. Wasn't like when he lost a 5-star or something.
More of our opponents might have been, though. I mean, maybe because he looked like he might have been able to run the offense, even if he had a bit of a noodle for a left arm.
5-0. Noles rolling big, baby. 5-0.
I think that's a revenge game for Harlan Barnett. He's going to be pissed off.
Is rolling right now, man.
They embarrassed him last year.
Oh, they did.
So that's a big game for Harlan.
4-1. All right.
Okay.
See, boy, I tell you what, can't wait for football to get here. We are kicking ass and taking names.
Boy, these are happy shows.
This is a good time.
Haven't had a lot of happy football shows in a while.
Unfortunately, you have a little time to gear up mentally because after the NC State win, when we're 5-0 and the country's watching, we got the bye week. We take it to Clemson, and Trevor Lawrence lights that ass up, and we fall to Clemson yet again, and Florida State is 5-1. And it's a fairly non-competitive contest.
I believe that Trevor Lawrence will look great on the shelf because he's gonna, you know what, say I'm done playing college football.
Oh,
I'm gonna
he's
wait
gonna
it out.
sit it out,
I'm just
huh?
gonna wait it out.
Yeah.
But Clemson's backup quarterback is enough to win the day. Still,
4-2.
So there you go.
4-2. Then we're at Wake. That's a win. 6-1. Good bounce back win right there. We were terrible last year and we smoked Wake.
Agreed. That's a victory over those Demon Deacons.
All right, then Syracuse comes to town, and obviously Dino had a little something waiting on us last year, but they lose out on Dungy now. He's gone. Dungy's gone.
The DeVito kid's pretty good, though.
He's no Dungy. He's out of here. We're going to get revenge for last year, and just like that, Florida State, folks, a robust 7-1. All right, buddy. How about that?
I think it's a little 6-2, and also I'm hoping that Jamal Custis leaves for the NFL after the season. It's a big body type that I think the NFL would really like at the combine, but that would help. DeVito's pretty good, but it's here. It'll still be hot as hell, right? When is that game? October what now?
The Syracuse game is October 26th. It better not be hot as hell, but you know.
It's the day after my birthday. I got a Friday birthday this year. All right, kick
there
ass.
You go. Let's do it up.
It'll still be too hot for the Orange.
Okay.
We win that game by 10.
7-1, 6-2. Then Miami comes to town. Miami's got no chance. They're in complete disarray. What an embarrassing program that is. They'll get here and get stomped. Easy win there, 8-1.
They've been in disarray, and they've still beaten us the last 2 years.
Well, because we were too. We were in complete disarray. We almost went down there and won, and we had nothing for nobody.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. This one's tough. It looks like Enos might be a good hire. Diaz is he got Jeff Thomas back. Do you see that?
They did. It doesn't mean they got nothing.
I'm gonna go with you because you're the Miami whisperer.
Yeah,
so okay,
you got
that's a dub. What does that put us?
7-2.
7-2.
8-1 over here. Then we're at BC. Feeling it? A little 9-1 action for the Noles. Oh. My God, what a turnaround this season is.
We've got to lose at some point.
All right.
Put me down for a loss there.
7-3. You just trying to make up ground here.
Well, there has to be another loss.
Alabama State's a win.
Yep.
10-1 Noles, baby. Woo! Pushing for a playoff spot. Pushing for a playoff spot in year 2. Tagger time. Here we go.
Well, we beat Alabama State, so that gets us to 8-3.
Yeah. All right. And then Florida on the road. I'll pick a loss for now, 10-2. You'll have a loss, so you got us going 8-4. I think most people are probably with you. I seem to be a little bit over the top with my projections of 10-2, but feel pretty good about it. A little 10-2. You know what? Just a modicum of improvement on that offensive line changes everything.
Well, and I think, honestly, this defensive back class that comes in, and you get Bolden back, and he was lost to injury.
It down.
You might have 3 or 4 new options on the back end by that point. So, yeah, that might be nice. Might be a good season.
That's W's and L's. But you don't hold us to right now. These things get changed. This is always the fun one. Now that engagement season is over, it's time for some planning. Social Catering has several options for wedding, event, and catering needs. They're Tallahassee's largest catering company, and they manage event spaces at venues like Madison Social, Township, and The Gathering. They can plan all of your wedding events, engagement parties, bridal brunches, rehearsals, even wedding receptions. Whatever the event, they've got you covered. For more details, email my friend Matt at madisonsocial.com. And also, this is a good time. You want to get down over there to College Town and feast on those tacos and deal with the tomorrow is the what's it called?
It was Thursdays.
Yeah, Thursdays. But I'm saying we're
it's
right
like Taco
there.
Thursday.
Yeah, Taco Thursday. So,
which is, hey, they took that. Everybody does Taco Tuesday. Yeah. I've been doing Taco Thursday for years.
There you go, Taco Thursday. And then you've got the social agreement. You got all that stuff. You got some pies that are cheap too. All the restaurants there kicking ass on a Thursday.
Pizza pie.
Yeah, it's good stuff. All right, come back, wrap it up momentarily.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
As talk show hosts tend to do, and especially when it's fun subject matter. Tonight, I can tell you we've got the NBA. Toronto and Boston should be a great game. Looking forward to it, actually.
Coverage begins 7:30.
Damn right it does. Coming up next, Front Row Knowles. All right. The great Tim Linnefelt will join the boys and talk about the schedule, I'm sure. I don't know if they give W's or L's tonight or not. That is proprietary to us. I don't know.
I do see on the sheet that they are going to break down the ins and outs of our trip to Boise next year and the fact that it is going to happen.
I'm so pleased.
Yeah.
That makes my night. I'm going to have a tall, cold one in celebration while I watch the NBA and go to bed early.
What's tonight? Tonight is, have you seen The Masked Singer at all?
No, I don't know
the
what
one
that
on
means.
Fox. It's like the people wear the ridiculous outfits and
no, I haven't seen it.
Just tape it and watch one because it's only about 20 minutes of content.
Okay,
it's ridiculous.
I think I hate the people that are on that show.
Well, it's something the kids
Isn't
would
Jenny
like.
McCarthy on that show?
Yeah, she's on the dais. Ken Jeong he's funny.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an overproduced, on stage reality show.
Doesn't look good.
The kids would like it.
We'll see. I can't. It's hard for me, man. I get so mad with this is what's on. This is what they're doing here.
It's a shtick, but it's a good one.
I missed the show last week. Didn't the second
Titan Games?
Yeah, did that happen?
Yeah, I've not watched it yet. I have it on the DVR. Yeah.
That was last Thursday. That was the second one.
Mm-hmm. Well, episode 3 because they doubled up in week 1.
Oh yeah, so I missed that episode. I got to go back. I think we recorded that. Yeah, you're right. It is just a cursory glance of the rocks on that.
He doesn't give a damn. He's like,
hey, I've let my name to it.
Precisely.
That's what he's done.
No, but he invented each of these.
I'm
challenges.
sure he did. He sat around and drew them up. Studied ancient plans from the Greeks.
Congratulations, that's great work. You just went through 20 minutes of hell. We'll be right back with another challenge right after this.
That's when you know you got it good, when you're just lending your name and a few bars for $1 million or $2 an episode, right? Good work out of you. Good work, Matthew. Be well, everybody. Have a great night. Deep breath. Going to be okay. Front Row Knowles up next.